leader with over 18 years of experience and a deep passion for people, performance, and organizational growth. Currently serving as the Human Resource Head for Atlas Copco India Compressor Technique Customer Center. Dr. Kumawat plays a pivotal role in steering HR strategies for sales, services, and manufacturing units across India. His work spans global people management audits, M&A integrations, and building a future-ready workforce grounded in excellence and continuous improvement. With a PhD in HR and a Gallup Coach certification and a strong foundation as an engineer, he brings a unique blend of technical, analytical, and people-centric thinking to the table. His leadership and organizational development, people capability building, and world-class manufacturing HR practices continues to set benchmarks in the industry. May I now request Dr. Sheetal ma'am to kindly felicitate Dr. Kunal Kumawat sir.
Okay, so good. Maybe until we get to follow my and my. So good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you feeling today?
Good.
Good?
Yes.
Why good? Answer is very generic. Okay, so first of all, thank you to Dr. Sheetal for giving me this opportunity to talk to you all. I have approximately 45 minutes until the next speaker comes. Whatever is shown here, role of HR in leading change and creating business value, I'm not going to talk on this particular topic. But we will navigate in this session to understand what's your mission, why are you here, and what you want to achieve. I would request you all to be participative. It's not only one-way highway. I would request you all to reflect. Answer, nothing is right and wrong. The kind of organization where I work with, let me do some employer branding first. So I work with an organization called as Atlas Copco. That's a Swedish MNC which has roots more than 150 years. So it was formed in Sweden, Nacka, in 1883. And since then, we are like a family of 52,000 people across the world, working in sales, service, R&D, and design of compressors, one, portable compressors and generators, two. Second is industrial tools. So for example, everybody is now using iPhones or mobiles, right? So tools are nothing but instruments that we give to the production setup to basically tighten the torque. If you see cars, there are tools to tighten the wheel bolts or maybe engine mountings. These are the tools. And the fourth division that we have is vacuum technique. So vacuum nowadays is a very hot product. If you see mobiles, the LCD screens, the printed circuit boards, their vacuum is used. So these are the four divisions where we work. In India, Atlas Copco India was formed in 1960. Then PM Mr. Nehru came for the inauguration at our Chelmsford office. So we are also having a very strong presence in Atlas Copco for India. So this is about the organization. We have plants in Chakan, we have plants in Talegaon, we have plants in Chelmsford. We have also recently acquired multiple facilities in Coimbatore and in Bangalore. So we are having organic and inorganic growth. So that's how we are taking this initiative ahead. And we are market leaders. So whatever we do, We want to make sure that we are market leaders in that particular area. Coming back to me, a short introduction. Obviously, thank you for the elaborate introduction that you have given. Basically, I'm an engineer. How many engineers here? Okay, 1, 2, good. So for me, the story is same like 3 Idiots. I did my engineering, and later on I understood that engineering is not something which will inspire me in long run, and that's how I landed into doing my MBA and into a leadership role. Yeah. So this is a short introduction of my organization and my candidature. Now we will have more of a question and answers. So I understood that you all have opted for MBA, right? Masters in Business Administration. Why have you opted? I don't want chorus answers, maybe you can raise your hand. Why have you opted for MBA? What's your objective of doing MBA? Yes. Good morning.
So I opted for MBA because first it's a professional degree. As I have completed my bachelor's of business administration degree. So just to apply for just to complete my master's, I applied for.
Okay, very good. Just to complete your master's, you applied for MBA, right? Okay. Who else? Why have you opted for MBA?
To start my business in my village.
Very good. Anybody else? Yes? For good package. Wonderful. To the point. Right? Yeah?
For the skills and experience.
For the skills and experience.
So I opted MBA because this is a course that helps us indulge more in our leadership activities and all. And I love to be a leader over here, so that's why I opted. This will help me a lot in life.
Okay, very good. Have a seat. So from my perspective, yeah, you may have a different perspective. I think we need to have a very clear line of sight that what you need to achieve out of your MBA. I appreciate this gentleman who clearly said that he wants to become an entrepreneur in his village. So the line of sight is clear why you are doing an MBA. Second line of sight is very important, that we need to see the end result. What's the destination? Many of you sitting here, so different people get inspiration from different sources. Somebody can come here to do MBA because you already have a family business running. Your father, mother told you, go do an MBA and come and take care of my business, right? One. Second is you saw somebody into some leadership position, so it was like an inspiration or an aspiration for you to get into an MBA. For some people, it can be that I need to earn better livelihood for my family, right? So we need to understand the end product. From my perspective, there are only two end products. One is to become an entrepreneur, right? And second is to get a good job. Nothing else. Anybody here who is coming to do MBA just for fun? घर पे time pass नहीं होता. Let's do an MBA. No, right? We are here. Anybody? Yeah. So that's the objective is clear, right? You want to, at the end after doing MBA, you want to grow your family business. So one objective is that. Second is, if that's not the case, if you're not starting your business or not getting into your family business, the objective is to get a good job of a higher package, good company, right? Nobody wants to work with a normal company at a normal salary. Nobody wants to do charity. We are here in a serious business. And that's where you need to set a clear line of sight that at the end of 2 years, what is that you want to achieve? If you don't set that, whatever you do today will define your tomorrow. That's a very powerful statement. Huh? Whatever you do today will define your tomorrow. These 2 years is a huge investment for your life. If you work hard, if if you put time and effort in learning, applying, collaborating with your team members, that will give you a phenomenal result. A good start is also important. Right now, I think for you there should be two ambitions or two aspirations. One is to learn a lot from a practical perspective and at the end get a good placement, right? If you get a good placement with a good organization, your starting point, once it is set at that particular level, then you will always jump on that starting point. So you need to note down that at the end of the day or maybe end of the session, I would request you all to please make your mission board. I'm not saying vision board. Vision is larger, it's for the life, what you want to do with your life, where you see yourself. Somebody can say, I want to become a CEO. Somebody can say, I want to become a marketing manager. Somebody will say, I want to start with my family, right? Somebody will say, I want to start a business in my village. That's your vision. But for these 2 years, what is your mission? I think that you should set. If you set it today, then you have done your first homework and you are halfway there, right? For example, if you start a journey, you first define the destination, right? You travel, somebody out of Pune, but from Pune, yeah, correct? When you are going on a journey, you first define the destination, and then you try to find out ways to reach to it. Yeah, you can take a blah blah, you can drive with your own car, you can take a bus, train, flight, or bike, whatever. But if you don't define your destination, nothing you will achieve out of it. So my request to you is, please make sure that you have your mission clear within next 2 days. What is that you want to achieve out of this MBA investment that you are doing for your life or business? Are you with me until this point?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Any doubts? That's bad. Any contrasting opinions, any reflections? No reflections? I see some friends pointing at each other. How does it make sense? No? Okay. Can I move one step ahead? Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, once you define the objective, once you define the end goal, you're from A point to B point. A is right now, right, July 2025. July 2027 is the end point. You have limited time. Yeah, everybody has same time in terms of hours, minutes, days, years. Now, what will differentiate between all of us or all of you here? What will differentiate? You also have 365 into 2, right? More or less 730 days, right? You also have 730 days. And while you're doing so, it's not only DY Patil, this particular institute, who is producing MBA students, right? You'll have more and more. So how will you compete? What is your strategy to compete with them? What's your strategy to differentiate? Differentiation, I think marketing people will study differentiation. Somebody must have studied BBA. Yeah? Differentiation is a strategy to sell the product. At the end, while you are trying to attend the campus interviews, it's a reverse of selling process. This is what I can say, right? How does the sales process happen? You have a lead. Anybody who has done BBA in sales or marketing? No? So you have lead generation, you have lead prospects and qualifications, then you try to do the contact with the customer, then you give the proposal, you qualify it and you get the order, right? That's the sales process, this is how it happens. Similar also happens for HR. When you will attend the campus interviews at the end of 2 years, what is that the employers will look into you? What do you think? Yeah. Quality, okay. What kind of qualities? Leadership, very big term. Huh? Okay. Personality. Communication skills, wonderful point. I want to stick on this point for some time.
Experience.
Experience. You don't have experience right now. You're freshers, right? How can you fight? How can you win a battle on experience? Skills. I will talk on that. Skills for some time. Will to work hard. Okay, that's right. How do you present yourself? So I connect the dots to communication. Yeah. Yeah. Adaptability. Very good. We will come on that point. I think if you have pen or paper, note this particular formula. What an organization will look into you is KSA. Okay? Or I have my own formula that is called as 3H. 3H formula. Three H or KSA, whatever you say. Yeah? First I will explain in 3H. When I am coming to Atlas Copco, what do you think? What do I bring to Atlas Copco? Why Atlas Copco is paying me? Why Atlas Copco is engaging me? What do you think? Do you? Yeah? Hiring quality employees, okay. You're going into task level activity. But okay, let me simplify. Sit, otherwise it will consume a lot of time. When you are showing up to a work or while you are attending an interview, what do you bring to the table is 3H. The first is head. Head, right? Second is heart. And third is hand. Head, heart and hand. These three combinations in tandem, this is what you are bringing to the organization. In simplest way, if I have to put it, it's knowledge, skill and attitude. You can correlate this 3H with knowledge, skill and attitude. If you are getting into a role like consulting, where you have to do a lot of analysis, where you have to build on data, where you have to do strategic planning, what comes into play is head, cognitive abilities, ability to process information, inductive, deductive, numerical. You must have given this test, right? CET, other competitive exams or some entrance that you do, right? Then you have graphical, they show you 4 pictures, now what can be the next. That is how people will assess you on your cognitive ability to think. Then is your heart, your passion. Are you here only for money? Or you are here to make a difference? What's your purpose? Why are you showing up to the work on a daily basis? That is what is heart. And the last piece is hand. Hand is nothing but how will you deliver results? What are your skills? I can explain you in simple example. Assume that you don't know driving, okay? And I give you a 500 pages book, how to drive. 500 pages book, how to drive. You read that book for 1 month. You get trained, your professor comes, your teacher comes, they teach you all the skills of driving. And I take your test. You score 100 out of 100. I take you to the express highway. I put a gun on your head and say drive. What is going to happen? She will say either you shoot me or I kill you by driving. Right? This is very harmful. A lot of times while we are engaged into different courses, this is what I also hate personally as HR. People say I've done this certification, I have these things, I have that, I have this knowledge, that knowledge. That knowledge is useless until it is applied and converted into skills and result. If I have to hire a driver, a very lame example, I don't care about 100 marks or 80 marks, minimum qualifying criteria. What I want is application of that knowledge into skills. How good driver you are. I'm giving a very simple example. So if you are doing your MBA in finance, some of you want to do in finance, right? Some of you want to do in marketing and sales. Some of you operations, anybody? Operations? You have an operations team here? No, okay. Some of you, I think you have data analysis and data intelligence. Business analyst, right? So, one is knowledge, second is skill. And why I'm giving this driver example so that you can relate very easily. So I have chosen a driver who has scored 100 out of 100 marks. He is a very good driver, but overconfident, rude, gets into road rage. What is going to happen? Either he will kill me or he will kill himself, right? So the combination of knowledge, skill and attitude, this is very important. So while you are on this journey, as I said, that you need to have a clear mission and which kind of companies is what you need to target by end of your 2 years. What is that company is looking forward for? What is their job description? Talk to the seniors, talk to people who have got placed. What is their job looking like? What are the challenges that they are facing? Based on that, you have to build in this 2 years your knowledge, skill and attitude plan. Are you with me on this point? Is it making sense? Or in simple terms, you can say head, heart and hand. These three has to be coordinated. If that's not coordinated, then your mission may not be accomplished. Any doubts until this point? Any questions, any reflections? No doubts is worrying me. No reflections is also worrying me. Any reflections on, like I've been speaking for last 20 minutes, what are one or two key takeaways for you until now? Because I have next 20 minutes more to speak. Yeah? How to make a good attitude? Okay. It's a very big question. It's a very last question. It's 7 hours or 8 hours of workshop. So, what is attitude? First of all. Body language is manifestation of your attitude. But what is attitude? Attitude is nothing but your disposition towards a particular activity, thing or a person. It's collection of your beliefs, your values, your thoughts, your experiences and your priorities in life. Right? That is what is attitude. Yeah? And attitude is a product. What's your age? 22. Sorry for asking age, it's a private matter, but for example purpose. Your attitude is not built or cannot be built or changed easily in this 2 years of your conditioning in DY pattern. Your attitude right now is a manifestation of, or maybe manifestation is a high word, it's a part which has been developed over 22 years of your conditioning. When you are born, everybody is born same, technically. You have 2 eyes, I had 2 eyes, right? Correct? 2 kidneys, 2 kidneys, 1 heart, 1 heart, 1 brain, 1 brain. Technically, we are by design same. Capacities in DNA may vary, but what changes us is the upbringing. What kind of upbringing values have been given to you by your family, then by your neighbors, by your relatives, your siblings, your first school, your second school, your engineering, your masters, your first job, your professors, any point in contact where you are, this and your experience is very important. That builds your attitude. Yeah? When I was a kid, maybe when I passed my engineering in 2003, my father always used to hard press me on stay in company of good people. Yeah? Stay with smart people. Why? Because attitude is contagious. It is infectious. If you stay with people, I give you a simple example. Please sit. Yeah. So you have 2 groups. One group, this is one group just for hypothetical purpose, who is very well connected. They are collaborating. They are talking on the they are discussing on the topics. They are doing their project together. They are sharing knowledge. Another group is this group. Again, no hard feelings to you. They always plan what to do on weekend. Should we go to Lonavala or Mahabaleshwar? Where should we hang around? And only thing is gossips, movies, no constructive discussions, what is going to happen? Even if one person here wants to study, he will easily get deflected, right? So attitude is contagious. You need to choose your right company. You need to choose people who have similar mission, yeah? And then you will get inspired from them. At times, even if you are feeling low, somebody will kick you, push you, and you will keep on going. If you are in a negative company, you will always go in negative company. So mindset, this is what we call as mindset. Mindset is very infectious. If you stay in contact with positive people, inspired people, mission-driven people, you will automatically become like that. In management terms, we always say that you are average of 5 people with whom you spend most of your time in your life. You apply this formula. If you have 5 key members or part of your family, you are always average of that. The kind of conversations that you have with your parents, the kind of conversations that you have with your friends, the kind of colleagues that you have, the kind of group you are into, you will always be average of that because you will get inspiration from them. Yeah, that is what is attitude. Any more reflections, any questions? So attitude cannot be changed immediately, but you will have to consciously identify patterns where the attitude is not matching and then work on that. I cannot tell you what can be done because it's a deep topic right now, but that's how you can adapt your attitude. Change is difficult. Right? That's why in interviews sometimes we ask you, what is your father doing, what is your mother doing, right? What are your values, what you want to do in your life? Tell me a situation where you have failed. Failure also teaches a lot of things to us. Failure is the best teacher, not always success. Sometimes it is said that as a leader, you should know first how to deal with failure rather than success. Because success goes into head and then you become very arrogant. Yeah. Any more reflections on what I've said? Knowledge, skill and attitude. Yes? Yeah.
I want to know, as you are a corporate leader, so in your corporate career, which best marketing strategy
Best marketing strategy, okay. Fine. There is a book that you should read which talks about blue ocean, red ocean. You must be aware. Yeah. So always operate in a blue ocean rather than red ocean. And it's a big topic. I think simple formula that I can give is there always have to be equivalent drawn between a need or demand and the product. What is the need of the industry? What is the need of the customer? This is what you have to serve to the customer. If you're not giving that, the customer will not say yes. Similar is applied for you as well. When you are going into your campus interviews, you need to understand the need and demand of the employer. What is the knowledge requirement? What is the skill requirement? And what is the attitude requirement? And if you are able to meet that, obviously there will be a sale or there will be an engagement. That's how I can put it in a simple words. Okay, so 2 things that I've said until now is you need to have a clear end point that at the end of this 2 years, what is that you need to achieve. So point A is today, point B is July 2027. What is that you need to achieve? You need to also map the KSA, knowledge, skill and attitude requirement for the role that you're targeting. Tomorrow you want to become an entrepreneur, you said in your village. So you may start studying about the context of your village, what kind of business will work, what is the P&L, profit and loss, what kind of models are working. If you decide to work in say EY or McKinsey or any big 4 consulting organizations, what is the recruitment process, what they look forward for, what is the skills that are required, what are the competencies that are required. That's how you should plan your journey. It's very simple. And then you should make sure that you utilize your time in right way and with right company. Okay? Is it clear until now? Also, I have highlighted the part that in today's era, nobody wants only knowledgeable people. What matter most is your results. Right now, when you say results, there are 2 dimensions for you. Maybe the theoretical results that you get on paper. And second and most important is what you gain here, knowledge and how you apply it to skills. So what you gain on paper, that doesn't make sense until it is replicated in your behavior. Correct? It is replicated in your vocabulary, the way you talk, the way you present, the way you put forward your simulations or case studies. That is what is the real reflection of your result. Not that piece of paper which says 96%, 95%. Your vocabulary should change, your approach should change, your attitude should change. And that's where I say, going back to this example of knowledge, skill and attitude in a driver example, and I want to give this because it's a very simple example. You have qualified the test. Out of 198 marks, you have done the basic course of how to drive, you got a learning license. How you can be the best driver? Practice, okay? By doing it practically, yeah? Doing it, yeah? What else? Observation, very good. Powerful way, yeah? In military you say that if there are 10 people doing a set of activity, one person is doing an activity. There are a set of obstacle activities they have done. 9 people are just standing. But while these 9 people are standing, they are also doing it 9 times. How? By observing, by understanding what has gone right and what has gone wrong. So learning by observing is also one of a very powerful methodology. So you should also observe. You should have your inspirations and aspirations where you can role model some people whom you believe you need to be like that. The way they talk, the way they act, the way they present, how do they prepare for their interviews, how do they prepare for their presentations, what's their confidence, from where the confidence is coming. That is how you need to observe and mimic. I think we also talk about reputation, right? So if you want to become a best driver, I think diversity will give you the best competence. If you want to become a best driver, maybe go and drive in Mumbai. Yeah? Go and drive on a hilly region, go on drive on different roads, different terrains, maybe drive in Rajasthan or go to Leh Ladakh. These kind of diverse experiences will make you the best driver. So that is where, when you are talking about a skill, in today's era, things are changing very fast. Whatever is valid today, it's not valid tomorrow. Everything is changing, correct? Right now you are also changing. What is changing with you? Our age. Correct? Anything that is constant in life is change. Everything will change. Nothing will remain at the same state. Change is constant, and this is why we also need to change. That's where I will give you a framework that you need to integrate to make sure that you go to the next level. And that is where you need to expose yourself to the different skill sets. If you're doing your studies in marketing and sales, you need to do different sort of case studies. Different industries. How is sales happening or marketing happening in a phone industry? How is that happening in an automobile industry? How is that happening in a capital equipment industry? How is that happening in a FMCG industry? Right? Maybe the framework will remain same. So manufacturer, distributor, dealer, retailer, sales, logistics around it, but there will be slight or major variations based on the model. So why I am saying this is because if you want to build your competence on a particular topic, you need to get exposed to diverse projects. That is my key message to you. While you engage in these 2 years of your journey, your professors will give you a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. But my request is, most of the times, and though when I was also young and I did my MBA, I was not so serious about my project. But later on I understood that project is the best way to build onto your skills. Because that gives you an opportunity to translate your knowledge into skills. So even if you have 2 projects or 1 project, maybe in the final year you will have 1 project to do, major. But until that point in time, try to do as much as small, major or big projects, whatever you have, so that you get practical experience in industry. Why I am saying it? You can connect the dots to knowledge. Knowledge is what you will get. Skills is what you can occupy or get from the projects. And then attitude is how the organization will evaluate you. So that is what is very important. Are you with me?
Yes.
Any doubts? No doubts? All well? Okay. Now, it has been observed, and there is a lot of research around it. I have now last 10 minutes on what is major missing in the MBA students that are coming out from the college. What do you think? What is the major missing?
Skills.
Yeah, skills, but skills is a very broad term if you want to be specific. Going back to somebody who said on CS, communication skills. That's the major missing in Indian MBA graduates. You go on Google, you go on ChatGPT, Copilot, everybody should use that and ask them questions that what is that is missing into an MBA student who is passing out at this point in time from India. First thing that they will say is communication skills. Yeah? When you are in this organizational context, when I say organization, institute context, you're talking to your professors, you're talking to your maybe project partners in industry. If you're not able to communicate well, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody's antayami to get to know that how smart you are unless you speak, unless you put your point, unless you debate in a healthy way, not to fight, unless you have a constructive discussion. Yeah. So first part I think you all should build is on the communication skill. That is my advice to you. How to talk, how to present, how to prepare for interview, how to stand. Every damn thing of communication. It can be about grammar, it can be about language, it can be about personality, it can be about confidence, whatever you say. Communication skills. What is the second skill that you feel is missing from the backside? Yeah? Okay. Confidence. To some extent, I agree. But again, communication will give you confidence. And confidence comes from competence. Yeah? Competence will give you confidence. For example, if you are attending after, even if you go into you complete your MBA and you are into any leadership role, in which stream you are trying to do your MBA? Marketing. So you are a marketing manager, for example, of a automobile industry. Now, how will you get confidence? Unless you are competent, unless you are exposed to different types of skills, unless you apply, confidence will not come. Yeah? And the next step, one step below for competence is courage. That's my framework. You need to have courage to understand what is needed. You need to have courage to try. You need to have courage to fail. You need to have courage to experiment. And also go in and around the team and say, hey, I don't know this, can you explain me? That courage will help you to build competence, and competence will help you to build confidence. Confidence is a small part that is missing, but there's two major parts that are missing in today's MBA grads.
Strategic thinking.
Strategic thinking. You are on the right track. Let me build for you. It's analytical ability. Huh? Analytical ability. Since schooling, maybe because of our education or pattern, whatever you say, we are always trained in such a way or educated in such a way that we are maybe at some times less on analytical part. Rectify karne, ratta maar kya tha? Cheeze. That's very harmful. We don't understanding the context of it. We just rectify things, go and write in paper, and we are smart on that. We get marks. But analytical thinking is the second most important competency which is missing in today's MBA grads. For example, if I teach anybody who is doing finance MBA here, finance, okay, you're doing MBA in finance or you want to do it in finance. So rather than just understanding the framework of how to make a P&L, which is very easy, correct? Your revenue, expenses, cost, and adjustments and all this stuff gives you P&L. Now this is something which any student can tell. But what you have to do is, when it comes to analytical abilities, go backward and understand what are the entire cost or items which go forward, what is coming inside, and how you can analyze this P&L to generate the insights for the organization. Yeah? So for example, your inventory is not right, or your selling cost is not right, your production costs are high, your manpower cost is high. So we don't need people who will just make an P&L. We need people, or industry needs people who can analyze and guide the organization, what is right, what is wrong, what can be done to achieve the result. Are you with me? So analytical ability is the most important aspect that is lacking in today's students. And I'm not saying this is a generalized statement. Some of you can be very good, some of you can be average, some of you can develop this skill. Yeah? And how it can be developed? With practice and repetition. If, for example, for finance, if he wants to expertise on this particular skill, he can review. He can go on sites. On the public limited companies, there is P&L, correct? You must have seen that, right? So you can go analyze. You can find out what is right, what is wrong. You can go on HBR. You can do a lot of case studies. And then you can get yourself exposed to different environment and increase your competence and increase your analytical ability, right? So that's why this part is important. What is the third thing that is very, very important? Yeah. Okay, SWOT is important. Strengths, weakness, opportunities and threats. But that's part of your mission. When you set a mission that tomorrow, after 2 years, you want to have a job in any big four consulting organization, you need to do your SWOT. What is your strength now? What is your weaknesses now? What is your opportunity and threat? Strengths and weaknesses is from myself. Opportunities is threat from external. So that is how you will have to turn your SWOT. Okay. So coming back to the last point. Yeah. So what we have seen is about 2 dimensions until now. What were the 2 dimensions? First was communication, and second was, what is the third one that you feel? Okay, to some extent. Problem solving, we can connect it to the analytical ability. Building connections, yes. Something that is hot, something that is much needed skill. AI, and I can complement that with agility and usage of artificial intelligence. I've already stated the fact that whatever is valid today is not valid tomorrow. Yeah? In these 2 years, a lot of things will change. Are you scanning the environment? Are you taking charge of your career and understanding what is changing and equipping yourself with the competence, skills, knowledge that is required for the next 2 years while you are ready for your campus interviews or for your mission? And then complementing this agility, the part is, how will you apply AI into your day-to-day job to avoid plagiarism first, not to copy and make your projects, but to ensure that you become more productive, to ensure that you get diverse experience. As I said that I give an example of P&L, profit and loss statement, maybe from a finance perspective. So you can obviously make your own hypothetical P&L, add it into a ChatGPT, ask them different questions. Right? You can prompt them in a right way to learn a lot of different perspectives. You can add 2 more P&Ls, hypothetical or different public limited companies, ask them to analyze, and you can generate insights. So how do we use AI into your day-to-day life, integrate it to make sure that you increase your competence? That is the most important factor. So 3 things which are super critical that we have seen. So I think I'm running short on time because the next presenter was also here, but what we did is, first part, what did we saw or what did we reflect? Anybody? What is the first message from my side? What's your purpose, right? Define your mission. What is that you want to achieve for yourself in this 2 years? What is the next part? Can you be loud? 3H, yeah. Everybody is coming here, and what organizations want is head, heart and hand. And in general terms, it can be called as knowledge, skill and attitude. What was the next part that we saw? What is the next thing that we discussed about? So I gave an example. Car driving, right? So you have to ensure that in this 2 years you have to convert your knowledge into skills complemented by your attitude. Yeah? These three complementing skills are important. They should talk to each other. What are the next part that we saw? Communication skills, right? Analytical skills. And third is, be loud, my friends, nothing is right and wrong. AI is important along with agility. How fast you can change. I was talking to one leader and he said that you should be like a chameleon. You know chameleon? You should adapt to the environment. Not when you are forced to do it, but you should anticipate what is the change that is coming and do it before your competitors are doing it. Yeah? Correct? And there should be healthy competition within you all as well, so that you push each other towards excellence. So that's all from my side. I'm dot on 12. It was great experience interacting with you all. I wish you all the luck. I think we have been engaging with Dr. Sheetal since long. If you further need some guidance or some assistance on different topics, please feel free to reach out to me with the help of Sheetal. And believe me that whatever you do today will define you tomorrow. So this 2 years of your journey, if you put in your sweat and blood, if you do it with a lot of passion, energy, utilize your time properly, I think you will get the best of the results and it will help you to achieve your mission. Yeah? That's all from my side. Thank you and I wish you all the luck. It's great interacting with you. I've pushed some of you to talk. So my bad, but I wanted to make it more interactive and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kunal Kumawat sir, for joining us and sharing your inspiring journey and insights. Your passion for people and leadership in driving transformation is truly commendable. We wish you continued success and impact ahead. Thank you so much, sir.
Program, Mr. Ashish Nene, Senior Director at Deloitte India. Mr. Nene is known for his passion to build companies, great teams, and world-class products. Today, he plays a key leadership role at Deloitte after successful scaling and leading Webs and Technologies as its a CEO, a company that was later acquired by Deloitte. With over 2 decades of rich experiences, Mr. Nene has held senior positions at top companies like Oracle, Infosys, Persistent Systems, and Talantica Software, where he consistently drove global business growth across Europe, the US, and Asia. He is also an early investor and strategic mind behind successful ventures like Finorius and has a strong background in business development, marketing, and corporate leaderships. Mr. Nene's journey from sales role to boardrooms is a masterclass in vision, execution, resilience. We are truly privileged to have him here today to share his insights with us. May I now request Dr. Sheetal ma'am to kindly felicitate Ashish Nene sir.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. I think you introduced what you talked about me. I think is more than I actually achieved in my life. Okay, so what we're going to do today is no gyan. I'm going to tell you stories. Okay, I got some cheat sheets here with me as well. So, based on my experience of leading organizations, doing multiple startups, some successful, some not so successful. I'm going to share my experiences. But what I learned late in my own career, I would want to share my experiences with you, which you don't. You start early in your careers. Now, when I was just talking to Dr. Sheetal before the session, and I was just telling her that I did my MBA from Simbi. I graduated in 1999. Before that, I was a computer science engineer in 95. So when we were finishing our engineering and MBA, and I got campus placements through both, okay, we were looking for good jobs, good brands, good experiences. That's what we were looking for. Now fast forward 15, 20 years, I was on the other side of the table where I was on the interview panels, helping directors of these schools, make their judgment calls on who they induct and so on. And when I was sitting on the other side of the panel, 15, 20 years later, the kids who were in front of me were way, way smarter than I was when I was doing my MBA. Why were they smarter? One of the key reasons they were smarter is, irrespective of whether they were engineers or art students or BCom or whatever background they came from, at least 1 in 3 students wanted to be an entrepreneur. That was a complete paradigm shift vis-a-vis when we were graduating. We just wanted jobs. So what I'm going to talk about today is a very important topic which I learned late in my life. And this is something that is people are not born with, let me be very honest. It is either you are born with it, some of you, or it's a skill you need to inculcate. So what I'm going to tell you is the experiences I'm going to share with you, some mine, some somebody else's, some from a totally different industry. I'm going to give you some examples on defense as well, okay, where we are going to talk about spotting the opportunity. Because irrespective of which successful founder case study you ever read within the next 2 years or subsequently later, one common thread you will always find is that these people, whether ladies or gents, they have a great ability in spotting opportunities, whether in their organizations, whether as a startup or anywhere else. They can spot opportunities when other people can't. And that's a skill you need to develop. Okay? So let's start with a very interesting situation I face, and I'll talk about my own startup story as well in due course. I was taking a ride. I had landed up late from somewhere at Pune airport. I took the office cab which Deloitte sent me. And by the way, I've just quit Deloitte. I'm building my next startup. So no longer Deloitte. Okay, so I was taking this cab back home, and there are many things you can do with sitting in a cab. You can be on your phone, you can be talking to somebody, catching up with somebody, you can be looking outside, going to sleep. But I generally like to go and chat up with the drivers. Another human being, right? You have to treat him like one. So I started chatting up with this particular driver. I said, where are you from? How long have you been driving the cab? Whatever the questions you might. And during that course of the next half an hour, 45 minutes, it took for me to get from home to, from the airport to my home. There are a few things that came out of it, that conversation. One, the cab driver was not originally from Pune. B, he was in Pune to earn a livelihood because whatever farming he did wasn't creating enough income. He also moved to Pune because he wanted to educate his kids well, because long term, as a driver, he also was a mini visionary wherein he wanted his kids to grow up and be educated and take more informed decisions in his or her life, and not just be a driver like him who was not educated. So he was also thinking forward. So then I asked him a question. Why don't you go back to your village? Are there any opportunities for you in the village? He said there are no opportunities in the village. That is why I'm here. So now, let me just throw this open at all of you guys. This is not an isolated problem. Okay? Now if anybody wants to raise up a hand, do you spot any opportunity? This is just a conversation between two people, right? I've told you what he shared with me. And this is not a test question, okay? Just a casual conversation. Does anybody spot an opportunity here? And some of you may be also coming from smaller towns, right? Is there an opportunity here? No right or wrong answer, as the previous speaker was saying as well. Anybody wants to give it a try? Okay, let me throw a hint at you. Do you spot an opportunity wherein people don't need to come from the villages to the city? Because when people come from villages to the city, cities are getting overcrowded as well. It is creating a burden on the municipal department as well. There is always scarcity of water and so on and so forth, right? So, question again, do you spot an opportunity? Can some business opportunities exist or can be created such that people in towns can earn better livelihood and be happier, breathe cleaner air, eat better food without all the bad food that we eat in the city, without having to come to the city? There can be many opportunities. There can be opportunities in creating mini power stations, there can be opportunities in travel segment and so on and so forth. It's as wild a thought as you can. Okay? Has anybody heard of a company called Meesho? What is Meesho about? What's the business model? What Meesho founders spotted an opportunity which Flipkart and Amazon did. What was that? Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Devika this side. Meesho founders thought that the small companies like startups, so they can produce their products there, and at cheap level, their products can be bought there.
Who are they targeting?
Targeting small audiences or cheap customers in cheap
No,
prices.
they were not targeting the big cities. They were targeting the small
small.
cities. That is something that Flipkart and Amazon were absolutely not interested in because they didn't see the margins. But Meesho saw those margins, and you know its valuation today. Okay. Another example from the e-commerce world. Okay. Have you guys heard of Instamart, Dunzo, all those companies? What is the opportunity they spotted, which again Amazon and Flipkart didn't spot? Yeah. Quicker with the mic, I'm running out of time. Yeah.
Instamart saw the opportunity for saving time. Many people are busy, they want everything at one place, so they can.
So, you're right, but let's elaborate that further. What was the opportunity? Opportunity is about buyer behavior.
Yes.
Everybody wants instant gratification.
Yes, sir.
Your generation, not ours. Okay, we are okay to wait. But instant gratification is that customer behavior pivot which they got hold of. Customers were willing to pay a premium for the same product if they were getting it instantaneously within 15 minutes, half an hour. They were not willing to wait for the same product coming from Amazon at a cheaper price after 3 days in spite of Prime membership or whatever. Right? Instant gratification. So what they caught on is the way the buyer behavior is moving in time. Okay? Buyers don't have patience. Right? If buyers don't have patience, can we use that as a business opportunity from an existing business and then satisfy that need? Multi-crore business. Okay? Let me take a very different example. Let's take one example which is not from the business world. I'm just trying to talk about spotting opportunity as something all of you start inculcating. When you are trying to spot opportunities in your career, whether it is inside an organization or outside an organization as a startup, doesn't matter. Not everybody can be founders. Okay? But the difference between you being successful and not somebody else not being successful, you can beat any guy from an IIM Ahmedabad. If you can spot the opportunity, that guy can't. It's as simple as that. Okay, so inculcate, keep your eyes, ears open, read. You'll spot that little gap which other people can't spot. Let's take an example from the defense world. Everybody knows about Operation Sindoor. Okay? What happened after Operation Sindoor? What was proven in Operation Sindoor?
Even women can be.
Sorry?
Even women can be.
No, I'm talking about business. Yeah.
The defense arm that the operational
Hello. So the defense system that purchased the defense mechanism machines, so they proved that they were worth investing.
Okay, let's take little one step backward and let's speak specifically about Indian armaments. So this is the first time India proved that its homegrown drones and other systems could beat Western systems and Chinese systems. So as a consequence of Operation Sindoor, it's not a war that we won against Pakistan and indirectly China and Turkey and others. We also proved to the world that our own homegrown defense systems can beat the best in the world. Okay, China's biggest arms market is in Africa. African countries have started cancelling Chinese defense contracts and have started reaching out to India. So even a war can create business opportunities. Now defense industries in India can spot that opportunity, do something about it. We have all heard of Bharat Forge in our own backyard in Pune. Bharat Forge is basically a forging company, right? It is world's #1 forging company. Basically, it does forging and technologies around forging very, very well. They have done multiple acquisitions in the world. Now, Bharat Forge spotted an opportunity for creating guns, from small arms all the way till howitzers. Okay, it has built the largest, is built a gun which can hit 40 kilometers plus. No gun in the world, including Nexter, which is the second best, which is French, can hit that distance. Okay, we spotted an opportunity. Where do we spot an opportunity? Enemy's enemy is a friend. Who's our enemy? Who helped Pakistan during the war? Turkey and China, right? Who are Turkey's enemies? Azerbaijan, Greece and Armenia. We are supplying to both. So you spotted an opportunity, you had the right product at the right time, you sold. It took them 10 years to actually convince people we can build a world-class gun. But depending on geopolitics, you have to spot your opportunities. Now let me go back and give you one more example from the defense world, which has nothing to do with business, and then I'll go back to the business world. Okay? But the underlying message I want to keep reiterating is every moment of life when you're awake, spot opportunities. Let that message go across. You will be immensely successful in your life if you can spot those opportunities. Another corollary of spotting opportunities is also spot patterns. So if you talk about, some of you are going to be in HR as an example, right? When you talk to employees, you're going to spot behavioral pattern changes. Just the way Misho looked at pattern changes in terms of buyer behavior, instant gratification. These are pattern changes. Catch the patterns, you will catch the opportunity as well. Okay? So, how many of you have heard of Sukhoi MKI? India's leading fighter jet. Okay? What is the flying radius of a Sukhoi? 3,000 kilometers. Okay? India had not signed something called Missile Technology Control Regime, which allowed only us to buy missiles whose hitting distance is not more than 290 kilometers. Okay? So if I had to fire a missile at the northern borders of China, and let's say with something called BrahMos, okay, which goes at 3 times the speed of sound. Okay, can you hit it? At 290 kilometers we can't. So what was the jugaad or the opportunity that DRDO spotted here? I reduced the weight of BrahMos, which was several tons, created a miniature version of it, reduced the weight of the missile and put it under a Sukhoi, in the belly of the Sukhoi. Okay? And we are doing it further. Now a Sukhoi which flies 3,000 kilometers can have a BrahMos on his belly which flies let's say rounded off 300 kilometers. Now the range of the missile becomes 3,300 kilometers. At a fraction of the cost it will take for us to import such a missile. That's the opportunity DRDO spotted. It has nothing to do with, they're not selling anything, right? But now they have put that under the belly of the BrahMos. Now all Sukhoi operators worldwide, Malaysia, Armenia, they all want the same missile. So there is again business opportunity. Okay, so I'm giving you examples of how you need to spot those opportunities. Now let's go back to the startup world. Any questions before I continue? This is an open session, it's not a monologue. So any questions? I'll take a quick pause or I'll just continue with more hopefully interesting examples. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so can I ask you about the situation and you have to tell me what opportunities that
Let us look at
Sorry. Actually, no.
I may not have all the answers, okay?
Okay, so.
You guys are smarter than I am. I'm 50 plus. Okay, carry on.
Okay, so sorry, sir. But first of all, I own a small business. Okay.
You own a small business, okay.
I own a cake shop and my family is selling cakes right now.
Okay.
My mother is a owner. Now, the few people in my area, they are selling the cakes. And they are selling the cakes.
Similar.
Similar types of cakes,
Okay.
but I have tasted their cakes and they are quite cheaper. I don't like their taste. Furthermore, that my cakes are quality and the price is bit upper than their prices.
Okay.
And now people are buying their cakes because
Cost.
they are selling cheap. Okay,
Correct.
so but they are not understanding that the eating cheap material can cause them stomach problem or anything. And if I am explaining that to the coming customer or a customer they are coming here, so they are like other one is selling cheap and I don't want to invest much.
I understand.
So
I
what should I do, sir?
Okay, so let me give you some parallel examples.
Okay,
But you
sir.
have to apply them to your case study.
Okay.
Have you, okay, so Tata Motors, sit, please. Tata Motors was the number 5 car making company about 10 years back. Okay, number 1 was Suzuki, number 2 was Hyundai and the rest. Tata was 5th position. Tata's cars, Tata spotted opportunity.
Yes.
In their opinion, just like in your opinion, they had an awesome car,
Nano.
right? Not Nano. They had a car, all their cars were crash 5 tested. All their crash test ratings were 5. Suzuki's crash rate rating 1, 2, Hyundai 2, 3. That is the opportunity spotted. So what they did was, they started a mass advertising campaign which talked about how safe, how basically by using, they didn't say somebody else's cars are bad. They said my cars are so good and they are rating 5 and I'm publishing those results openly, that crash rating 5s became their marketing spearhead, where they changed the way the customers basically bought cars. So because of that, all car manufacturers were basically in shock. So they had to now spruce up their own cars so as to start meeting those 4 or 5 standards. That increased the price of their cars. And then Tata was competitive. Today Tata is number 2. So what you have to do is you have to shift the goalpost. If you play your competitor's game, you're never going to win. Right? You have to play it to the advantage of what you are good at. Okay? So basically, today one of the biggest problems, not just in the business case you're talking about, in general in the food industry, is health hazards. Okay? You have to play the health hazard game. My products are pure. My products will not give you a bellyache. Okay? They are premium. But today, please understand, customers are willing to pay a premium so that their health is not affected. Are you okay to pay for roadside dhaba food
No.
and have a bad stomach the next day? Or are you okay to pay a 10-15 premium, sit in a restaurant which you know there will not be any problem?
I'll just sit
You
in
have to
the
change the way
restaurant.
people think. That is the only way you can win.
Thank
So
you.
your go-to-market or focus should be play at your own strengths rather than play somebody else's game.
Thank you, sir.
Helps?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to a startup example. COVID 2020. All of us have been through it? Okay, so there is this startup guy, college dropout kid in the US, and this is a real story, okay? I'm not making it up. So, just before COVID in 2020, he is a Stanford graduate, dropout. You heard of you know that Facebook changed its name to Meta. Okay, what is the Meta short for? Metaverse. Okay, which means that you can completely exist in a virtual digital world. You can read up more about it offline. One of the aspects of a metaverse is avatars. So you can create your own digital avatars. So this guy, even before metaverse as a basically concept came in, he created digital avatars on his platform which he had built. Okay, and he was selling it to his college, classmates and friends, saying that basically we'll play virtual games with each other using a digital avatar. It was more of a gimmick. COVID 2020 happened, and interestingly, all these big stars, right, singers and all that, they have a lot of these stage programs. Okay, so they make millions in every stage show. So what this guy had spotted an opportunity during COVID, no stage shows. So what he did was he reached out to some of the celebrities through his network and said, why don't you do this online? Okay, and I will sell you a digital avatar, you can rent it. Okay, so he said, okay. So I'm just taking a random example. Let's say Madonna says, okay, I'll take a digital avatar and I will do a stage show and everybody can join digitally and I will charge you a fraction of the online fee, but I can do 10 more shows simultaneously. So I actually end up making more money. Okay, I'm physically not there. She can be in a green room where recording is happening and she can do a stage show from there and make it a digital avatar, right? Even Modi did digital avatar during campaigning, right? Something similar. So one show happened, another show happened, a third show happened, and then celebrities started using this on a regular basis. This is all happening during COVID. Okay, and then the celebrity is saying, hey, I don't want to rent the avatar because Madonna's avatar you'll rent it to somebody else. I want to buy my avatar. So he started selling avatars for millions. You see, spotting the opportunity. So if you at the right time, in the right place, with the right product, with the right differentiators, spot the opportunity. And let me tell you my own story a little bit. I'll step back. So when I started the recent startup that I did, which I sold to Deloitte later, this is year 2015, actually late 2014. I got together with a bunch of co-founders and people from my network. Says, based on all the Gartner reports I am reading, digital in manufacturing is going to really take off. Is this something we want to invest in? Okay, so there's a basis for that discussion. So that is me trying to spot an opportunity. So the other co-founders, 2 agreed, 1 didn't agree, he dropped out, I got another one on board, and so on. The founders have to believe in the story, otherwise the startup is never going to happen. So we then realized that there were 2 more startups, plus guys like Siemens and others who were already doing something in that space. They're way, way ahead of us. In fact, one of the startups, actually both the startups were already funded by venture capitalists. One of them had a 20 million valuation, right in here. Both the startups were in Maharashtra, one Mumbai and one Pune. So then obviously if we get in now, are we late, right? So what we did was, we further analyzed their sales strategy. Siemens we were not competing with anyway. But the other 2 startups, we looked at their sales strategy and spotted a really good opportunity. The opportunity wasn't in the product. The opportunity was in the way they sold their product. Okay? So and the way it was technically architected. Now I will not get into the technical stuff too much, but I'll just give you, for any of you engineers who understand what I'm saying, both these products were built on something called containers. Any idea what I'm talking about? Okay. So on cloud platforms, if some client will have Amazon, some will have Google, some will have Microsoft, some will have something else, Oracle. So if a client wants to adopt a platform, I want to make it easy for the client to adopt that platform. So there are two ways to do this. One is I built a product in a container, okay? So if anybody wants to use it, it's easy to migrate between platforms. It's cheap to migrate between platforms. But I have to build a lot of infrastructure for that. That costs a lot of money. That was problem number one. Problem number two is because they had a lot of money to spend from venture capitalists, they hired a lot of sales guys. Okay? Sales guys cost money. Sales cycles are long. Customers were not making up their minds for sometimes 24 months to buy. Which means that I'm paying a sales guy's salary for 2 years and there is no sale. Right? And there is no guarantee the sale will happen. So they were burning about 10 crores or 12 crores in cash. They were only earning 2 crores. The rest of it, the gap was being filled by venture capitalist money. So we spotted our opportunity not in the product, we just copied what they had built. What we did was, but built it better in the long run. But we spotted the opportunity in the money and the container. So what we did was, again, I'll not talk about tech too much, we built it native. So what happens is we built a separate platform for Amazon, a separate platform for Microsoft, and a separate platform for Google. The advantage we had is when we built it natively on a platform, I'm consuming more cloud. How do you think the Amazon and the Microsoft sales guy make their money? Cloud consumption. When you put something in a container, cloud doesn't get consumed. So Microsoft and AWS, Amazon specifically signed up with us as go-to-market programs. And the entire marketing and sales force for this particular segment of Microsoft and AWS was selling our product. Okay? Whereas my competitors were selling their product to their own sales guys. Who do you think would win? You know how many sales guys I had for 8 years? 0. No sales guys, no salaries for sales guys. So I could run my company for 8 years without any external money. So when I was negotiating with Deloitte, I didn't have to go to a venture capitalist board member and ask them, should I sell at this price? I could decide on my own. So what was the opportunity? It was not in the product, like in your case. It was in the way they sold their product. The opportunities could be in any way. You have to just spot it. And sometimes grave mistakes that competitors are making, and sometimes all of them are making the same mistake. If you don't make that mistake, you will win. Okay, so let me look at my notes. Any questions so far? Okay. So since we talked about Amazon, let me give you another example. Okay, Amazon. How do you think Amazon started their business? Selling books, right? This is pre-dot-com days. That is pre-2000. They started selling books. Then they started selling bunch of other things. Then it became the #1 e-commerce platform in the world, starting with the US, of course. But while creating that e-commerce platform, they built a lot of infrastructure on the cloud for their own consumption, to make it better, faster, and cheaper. But in the process, some smart cookie in Amazon, not the CEO, okay, spotted an opportunity and said, we have built all this infrastructure for our own consumption. Why don't I open up for the world? Everybody can use it and pay me money for this. So today Amazon's money comes from his cloud business, not from his e-commerce business as much. And they have more than 35% market share in the world. And as a consequence of that, Mr. Bezos is a top 3 richest man in the world. Okay. So the opportunity here was not an entrepreneur, the opportunity spotting was done by an employee of Amazon. So even as an employee, if you want to grow in your careers within your organization, if you can spot the right opportunity, like There are a lot of people who are not fans of Elon Musk, but there are some smart things he does. For example, when he says, you know how Elon Musk hires people? He doesn't hire people with experience. He says, if you want to get hired at Tesla or the space program I have or whatever, right? How do I hire people? I hire the guy who can give me $1 million idea. I don't want a vice president who's got 50 years of experience. So I wouldn't be hired. Probably you will be hired. Because he wants guys who can come into board, come with some smart ideas, spot those opportunities. Elon Musk will make that guy rich and he'll make himself richer. That's his business model. So again, it is about spotting opportunities. And anywhere you do, whatever work you do, it's about spotting opportunities. Again, a pause. Any questions? Okay. So again, it's a little tech example, but again, applicable to all of you. Which is the country which has the maximum cyber attacks in the world? US. Number 2. India. Last year there were 95 cyber attacks on corporate entities in India, of which financial services and manufacturing are the top 2. Okay, of which manufacturing is the first. Any guesses why that is happening? A side question. Who are we stealing manufacturing jobs from? China. Who do you think is doing cyber attacks on our manufacturing? China. They don't want us to be successful. Recently there was an example of one of the largest chip manufacturing companies shifting, Taiwanese company, moving their base from China to India. They sent about 300 engineers or 400 engineers to India, Chinese engineers, to train our guys. China pulled the engineers back saying, we will not train them. So we are building our own 500 engineers to get trained. Right? So there will be opportunities like that. There are a lot of, India is also doing a lot of interesting things in the world today. So by 2040, we are projected to be the top 3 economy in the world by GDP terms. And today the gap is huge between US, China and India. That gap is going to be super narrow by the time we get there. Okay? Now as a consequence, India's role in the world, its influence in the world is growing by leaps and bounds. When we were growing up, when we were in our early formative years, we were struggling as a country. When we traveled abroad, and I, by the way, traveled to 35 countries plus in my work. When I went abroad, nobody gave a shit about Indians. When you go, your Indian passport has a lot more value today. Okay? Because the hard work we guys have done. Okay? So now that that baseline has been set, how are you going to utilize, spot those opportunities as India grows? How are you growing? And there is a lot of talk about AI. I think the previous speaker also talked about AI. Do you think AI is a threat or is it an opportunity? Okay, just because of the topic of the lecture, I understand the answer, but why? No wrong answers. Nobody knows AI well. Yeah. I can't hear you. It's okay, you can talk. I'll try to hear. Go ahead.
My name is Nayan Shubakar, and as per my knowledge, I think the AI is a
Why?
we see the everyone here is working on the skills. Everyone here is working on the communication, and everyone here is trying to make a career. But with the AI, if I am aligned with my skills and with the help of AI, I can do more work in less time, so I can be more productive. In that case, AI would be a wonderful opportunity for me.
Okay, so AI is a threat. Thanks for your answer. AI is a threat for people who are doing repetitive jobs. AI is also a threat to people who are not adding value. Okay? So what AI can do for you, at least in the next few years. 3 years back, nobody was talking about AI as much, right? What AI can really do for you really well is it can get rid of literally all the donkey work that you guys do. We prepare transparencies and presentations and all of that. Okay, I can tell you all the big guys who wear suits, including from Deloitte, who come and talk to you. A lot of them are using AI to build their decks. Okay, now if let's say somebody has worked in manufacturing in automobile sector for 34. Yeah, his back is fine. So 30-40 years in auto sector. Do you think that guy has any bloody idea about casting industry? No. Does he have any idea about mining and metals? No. Does he have any idea about aerospace? No. But all these are different manufacturing organizations. Like one of my clients was Godrej and Boyce. Godrej and Boyce has 11 verticals. They manufacture motors, BrahMos missile, they manufacture, cupboards and everything and whatnot. Do you think one guy can know everything? Well, the consulting guy knows everything because of AI. Right? So AI is a tool which will be an empowerment for you. But what AI cannot do? What can AI not do? Any answer? He cannot be creative. He cannot spot opportunities, what we are talking about today. Right? All the different examples I gave you, AI can't spot that data. AI is totally dependent on the data it has to get smart outcomes out of that data. How do you spot? AI can't spot opportunities. You guys can. So the future entrepreneur or the future leader of organizations or successful folks who are working for themselves or for somebody else, okay, are the guys who are creative, are the guys who are spotting opportunities. So if you start inculcating those skills today, and your skill development could be on multiple levels, human skill, interactive skills, knowledge about your product and so on. But spotting opportunity skill is something you guys need to inculcate. So when you leave the room today, okay, keep your antenna open for opportunities. I'll give you an example from my brother-in-law is also an entrepreneur. Okay, way more successful than I am. Now he same batch of engineering as me. Okay, he did engineering electrical from COIP. Went on to do his PhD from Berkeley in the US. Now during his Berkeley days, along with a Chinese partner, he spotted an opportunity in the manufacturing space for guys like Intel, AMD, etc. So what was happening is, if you know a manufacturing line, it's typically a batch manufacturing, right? So you want to create a chip, it gets designed, it goes on the fiber and the fabrication, and the entire line gets manufactured. So if there's a small fault at the end of the line, literally it will throw out the entire batch. And that batch is 20 million, 50 million, 100 million worth. So what they did was, they spotted an opportunity to start doing QC, quality checks, in line. So they built algorithms and optical instruments. We started checking the manufacturing at different stages of the manufacturing cycle. So they caught the problem early. So the entire batch wasn't wasted. And then that became an industry standard. He sold his first company in 2001 for $120 million. Okay? Just by spotting the opportunity. Of course, you need to have the technical know-how to solve the problem, but that is a problem easier solved. You have to just get the experts to do it. Everything you can't know, right? So let me take a couple of more examples and then we can open it for Q&A. Okay. Okay, one more interesting example is there is a lot of, because of geopolitics. Do you guys follow geopolitics? What's happening in the world? Yeah. Everything that happens in the world, and to a large extent because of Mr. Trump, who is going a little crazy, which is good for us, is there are a lot of decisions being taken and a lot of realignments that's happening in the world. That creates a lot of business opportunities. Okay? Which is the largest financial organization or private equity investor in the world. The top 4 are in the US. BlackRock, State Street, and so on. They've all closed their offices in China and set up in India. Recently, BlackRock signed a mutual fund joint venture with Jio, Reliance Group. Okay? Now imagine how much, what is India's economy? Not more than 10 trillion. It's actually more of 4 or 5 trillion. You know what kind of funds BlackRock manages as one organization? Upwards of 20 trillion. So BlackRock technically can buy out India. They're that big. Okay? Now if you imagine the top 4 PEs in the world, together they have a corpus of more than 100 trillion. All of them have closed shop in China, they're coming to India. And look at these, there are a lot of these things that you guys need to track. Okay? So therefore you need to read a lot more. A lot of these things are happening as we speak every day. Tesla's opened in India, in Bombay. Anybody is going to buy Tesla cars, including me? No. But should we invest in a Tesla stock? Possibly yes. So spot those opportunities, whether they're in the financial world, manufacturing world. There are so many opportunities, they'll be there in those cracks, small little things, which can convert into multi-million-dollar businesses. Okay, so with that I'll stop. Hopefully it was interesting for you guys. But the 3 basic takeaways I would say is, one is I've emphasized enough about spotting opportunities. So keep your tentacles open. But a lot of times you will not spot those opportunities unless you know about that field. Now if you don't know anything about financial services, banking, private equity, you will not spot that opportunity. So whatever area of interest you have, go absolutely deep in it. As deep as you can. Because more knowledge you have about any sector, not only will it help you in your careers in taking decisions, but you will be able to spot those opportunities. A guy from tech cannot find opportunities in banking. I'll give you one more very interesting example. This is a deal that I had done. There was a company called Citrus Pay. Have anybody heard of it? Probably not. Okay. So I know Citrus Pay founders from the time they were operating out of a 2-bedroom flat in some remote corner of Mumbai. Okay? Completely funded from their own pockets. My company built a product. Okay? It was a payment product. And they spent about 9 months building that product, and then they ran out of money. Happens to many startups. What happened thereafter is nothing short of amazing. They went and said, okay, now we are anyway going to fold. Why don't we try one final gig? So they went and talked to Amazon and Flipkart. Because that was a time of e-commerce. And they were using some archaic payment gateways. They'll say, okay, if you standardize on Citrus Pay, these are the commercial terms we can sign up with. Okay? They signed up with both Amazon and Flipkart, and they wrote, and at that time, specifically Flipkart was also a startup, a small company. But with the growth of Flipkart and the right decision they took to ally with Flipkart, as Flipkart went crazy, Citrus Pay went crazy. Because everybody who were doing online payments was using Citrus Pay payment gateway. So they were doing multi-billion-dollar transactions on the payment gateway. So overnight, from a 2-bedroom little startup which was about to shut down, they just skyrocketed. They sold to PayU, which you probably use today, for about 125 million US. And then those guys are, one of the founders currently lives in Cyprus and chilling out. So the other guy started another company. So there are these kind of stories, but these guys would not be able to spot this opportunity if they were not in the right domain. What are the backgrounds of both the founders? They were bankers for 20 years. One of them was from ICICI Bank. So they knew banking, financial services, insurance, payment, inside out. That is why they could spot it. So whatever you guys do in your careers, go deep. If you go deep, you can't be, even if you don't spot those opportunities, you still do you wonders for your careers. Okay? So I'll take a pause. I'm kind of done. About 10-15 minutes. Questions? I hope I didn't bore you guys. Okay. No questions? I'm happy to go away, have lunch. Okay, so I'm a bit of a nationalist. Okay, so one request to all of you guys. In whatever you guys do in your careers, somewhere in your heart and minds keep India. Make sure you do something for India. Because a lot of guys I know who have moved abroad have become US citizens. They've forgotten about our country. So somewhere here, make sure you're benefiting your country one way or the other. It has nothing to do with the topic, okay? So just a request. I'm a Fauji kid, so happens naturally. So yeah. Yeah, please. Finally, we have one guy answering our question. Another mic.
Hello sir.
Yeah.
My name is Guru Pratap. I have a question sir. What things make you different from others? What do you do that achieve your success like this?
There is no right answer.
Hello. Sir, I want to know that what...
No, I got your question, but it's a very difficult question to answer. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. 50% is effort, 50% is luck. What do you do about luck? In 1 in 100 startups makes it. Right? You may have done everything right. You got shitty stars, you can't do it. Okay, as a founder. So, everything is not about your effort. Okay, there is a little bit of a factor of luck as well. Okay, but fact is that now if you take, I am a founder. Okay, the Citrus Pay guy also is a founder. Both of us sold our companies. He probably made way more money than I did. Technically, both of us are successful. But he's got more money in the bank. Now, relatively, I'm not successful. So you can't make judgments like that. It's very hard. The guy who went to space just now, right, Shukla, okay, he's an Air Force wing commander, group captain, sorry. He doesn't have anywhere near the money I have in my bank. Is he not successful? So what I would say is, the unfortunate part of defining success is how much money you have in your bank. That, in my opinion, after lived 50 plus years, that should not be the criteria to judge. I mean, Abdul Kalam was successful. Was he rich or poor? To judge people not just by the success only in terms of money, and if there is one criteria, if you're saying few criteria which is common, one of course is the ability to spot opportunities. But then I would say 90% time is all about commitment, dedication, hard work. Okay, it's just not luck. I have not seen any founder, with a few exceptions, who have made it without working hard. They sleep, breathe, eat their startups every day of their lives. It's not easy. So there is, frankly speaking, all successful people, at the end of it, it's a rosy picture, but the stories behind it, okay, there's a lot of interesting, the journey is more important. So what you do during your journey, whether as an individual, as a human being, as a founder or whatever it is, right? The journey is as important as the outcome. So there is no one attribute, but you have to work hard, you have to be dedicated, you have to spot those opportunities, timing is important, the knowledge is important, all that have to come together, and you require a lot of support from the family. Do you think I can do a startup without my wife's support? Not possible.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Questions? Yeah. Yeah, good question. So this is a very valid question. So there is a process that typically one needs to follow when converting an opportunity into an actual business, as an example, or it could be a business for within your organization. Now, when I spot an interesting opportunity, It can be a $1 billion opportunity or a 500 rupee opportunity. Both are opportunities. I can earn from that opportunity. The question is, what is the lower threshold beyond which I will not even bother about it? So first, that threshold is important. What you're trying to do about it. No investor will fund your startup if it is the opportunity anywhere less than $100 million today. So it has to be of that value. Now, how do you determine that value? Most important, you need to know your customers really, really well. Right? All these examples I gave you, those people knew their customers really, really well. Okay? So for example, the startup that I am running into, now I don't know if it's going to be successful, but we have interviewed close to 300 people in the age groups that we are targeting to know every aspect of how they think. Okay? We have noted it all down, all the scripts. We have tried to create a pattern out of it, and good thing is a pattern has emerged out of it. So which means one thing is out of the, so one opportunity is large enough. You have ticked, that box is ticked. Second is your target market segment feel there's a need and you know your customers really, really well. Okay? Next box is ticked. You also need to understand how your customers are evolving. That is another aspect you need to know, right? When we were of your age, we didn't think the way you guys think today, right? We didn't have social media. So that box needs to tick. The next box that need to tick is, I need information. On what basis do I create a business? So for example, what we are trying to do today, we are creating an all India database in the area that we are going to work. And that database requires 20 interns working 3 hours per day for about 3 months, building that database. Because that is my intellectual property. So I'm creating that database because my, in AI terms, my small language model is going to run on the database. Okay? So that is another box ticked. The next box ticked is what commercial, how are you going to sell it? So like she was saying, her cakes are like 100 rupees, somebody selling for 20 rupees. What are your commercial products? I want to sell it at 100. Is somebody willing to buy at 100? Do you know your customers well enough? Now, this is the problem. All of you will refer to books during your next 2 years where you will be taught the fact that don't create a product first and then try to shove it into the market. It won't work. Create a product based on what the market wants. Okay? So you've created that product. You're going to spend, let's say, $1 million building that product. How long is it going to take for you to get that 1 million back from the customers who are willing to pay you? Okay? And for you to, let's say that is going to take 2 years. How are you going to run your business for 2 years? Where's the money going to come from? Is it going to come from your bank account, your friend's bank account, or from a venture capitalist fund bank account? If it's going to come from an external person's bank account, you have to go sell the concept to that guy. You have to create that story, right? So there are so many boxes that need to tick. If it is a B2C business, the process is different. If it is a B2B business, you know what I'm talking about, B2B, B2C, right? If it is, I'm selling to the end consumer as an individual, the process is different. It costs way more money for me because my marketing cost, branding cost is way higher. If I'm selling to an organization, there are finite. So if I'm selling to, let's say, automobile companies, as an example, if I'm created an amazing robot, okay, that for auto companies, which will completely, let's say, eliminate manual jobs. I'm just taking a random example. There are not more than 20 automobile companies and another 50 MSMEs supporting automobile companies in India. So what is my customer base? 150. So I don't require to spend so much on marketing and branding. I focus on sales. So my process is different. So based on what business you're trying to build, there are different routes you need to take for building that business. And every step, you have to tick those boxes, otherwise nobody's going to fund it. Okay? Did I answer your question? Yeah. Okay, we are good on time? Alright, thank you everyone.
truly honored to felicitate Mr. Vineet Narayan, an inspiring leader and a visionary entrepreneur with over 26 years of rich experience in management consulting, IT services, and workforce solutions. As the CEO and Managing Director of Pathfinder Management Consulting Group, Vineet sir has been a driving force in revolutionizing businesses by harnessing next-generation technical talent and delivering best-in-class workforce solutions tailored to ever-evolving digital landscapes. Under his stewardship, since 2008, Pathfinder has grown into a global leader offering a broad spectrum of services from HR consulting to managed IT services, enabling enterprises worldwide to thrive with agility and innovation. His deep expertise in strategic consulting, business development, and staffing solutions has empowered countless organizations to build stronger, future-ready teams. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Vineet Narayan, a true trailblazer committed to transforming industries and inspiring excellence. May I request Dr. Sheetal ma'am to kindly felicitate Mr. Vineet Narayan.
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी। कितने सारे मुझे फ्यूचर के सीईओज नजर आ रहे हैं यहाँ पे? सारे हैं या कुछ कम है? एवरीबॉडी रेज योर हैंड्स। नहीं, कुछ के तो हाथ उठे ही नहीं है, कुछ सोच रहे हैं कि नहीं भाई नो हम उससे आगे जाएंगे। एक्चुअली उनके हैंड रेज नहीं हुए हैं। अच्छा, अभी क्या सुनना चाहते हो? जनरल टॉक्स या कुछ जार्गन्स इंडस्ट्री के, या कुछ अच्छा सा भाषण दे दूँ जिसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं हो? क्या चाहते हो? मेरे को शीतल मैम ने बोला था कि कुछ नया बोल दो, आजकल ट्रेंड में क्या है, कैसे है। तो ट्रेंड तो आप सब लोगों को वैसे मुझसे ज़्यादा मालूम होंगे। Am I right or wrong? थोड़ा जोर से तो बोलो यार। मैम आपने लंच नहीं कराया लोगों को आज। ज़्यादा हो गया तो मैं गलत टाइम पे आया, तो नींद आ रही है एक्चुअली। देखो, कपल ऑफ थिंग्स हैं। एक मैं छोटी सी स्लाइड बना करके लेकर के आया हूँ, कल रात बैठ के बनाया है आप लोगों के लिए। इसको देखना है तो इसको दिखाता हूँ। जनरल बातें करनी है, जनरल बातें करते हैं। एंड इफ़ यू वांट टू हियर मिक्स ऑफ दैट, आई एम ओके विद दैट। What do you want? Mix. And language also you prefer Hindi, English, Marathi or what? Or mix? Mix. तो मैं देखो, मैं फिर हिंदी और इंग्लिश ही मिक्स कर पाऊंगा, क्योंकि मराठी थोड़ी बहुत समझ लेता हूँ, बोल नहीं पाता हूँ। चलेगा? चलो डन। थोड़ा लाइट्स थोड़ा डिम कर दो दोस्त, अगर पॉसिबल है तो। यस, परफेक्ट। ना हमने सब्जेक्ट चूज किया आज का, बियॉन्ड डिग्रीज, यू नो, स्किल्स दैट मैटर इन 2025 एंड बियॉन्ड। तभी आप सब लोग यहाँ पर MBA करने के लिए आए हैं। बहुत सारे ख्वाब होंगे, ड्रीम्स होंगे कि भाई MBA करने के बाद ये छप्पर फाड़ेंगे, ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे। सबके मन में होता है, हमारे मन में भी होता है। मैंने भी किया है थोड़ा सा पार्ट। वैसे मैं इकोनॉमिक्स में मास्टर्स हूँ, मैंने अपना MBA कंप्लीट नहीं किया, तो लेकिन हमारे मन में भी बहुत सारी ज़ील थी उस टाइम पर, लेकिन कुछ और करने का भी था, तो इसलिए हमने वो रास्ता छोड़ दिया। वैसे मैंने 1 साल BSc किया है, 1 साल BA किया है, 3 साल का कॉमर्स में ग्रेजुएशन किया है, और 1 ईयर, लेस देन 1 ईयर MBA भी किया है, और फिर मास्टर्स इन इकोनॉमिक्स किया है। तो मेरा एजुकेशन का ग्राफ आप देख सकते हो कि ये बड़ा डिफरेंट सा है। हर बार कुछ चीज़ों के अंदर मेरे फादर ने डाला था, 6 मंथ्स का इंजीनियरिंग भी किया है ना, कि भाई इंजीनियर बन जाओ, तो उसके पीछे भी बड़ी अच्छी सी स्टोरी है। माई एल्डर ब्रदर हु वाज मच बेटर इन स्टडीज देन मी, ही चूज बायो इन हिज 9th, आई एम फ्रॉम UP, so in UP in 9th standard you have to choose the stream in UP board. So in 9th you have to choose that whether you want to go into bio or you want to go into mathematics. So my brother chose bio, and in 9th and 10th, he was in 9th and 10th, I was into 7th and 8th, and we used to go, मैंने बेटा पकड़ के लाते थे, उनका डायसेक्शन करते थे, मुझे अच्छा लगता था, उसमें मज़ा आता था। But in 10th, my brother didn't get the right kind of marks, and he said that I am not going for the bio, I want to be an engineer. तो उसका एक फाउंडेशन कोर्स का एग्जाम दिलाया, उसको मैथमेटिक्स में शिफ्ट कर दिया, ही बिकेम एन इंजीनियर। आई सेड टू माय फादर दैट आई वांट टू बी अ डॉक्टर, मेरे को बायो दिला। माय फादर सेड बड़े भाई पे नहीं चला, वो पढ़ने में जैसे इतना अच्छा है, तेरे पे बायो कैसे चलेगी? तो ही नेवर अलाउड मी टू गो इनटू बायो, और ही आल्सो वांटेड टू मेक मी एन इंजीनियर। मैं सिर्फ इंजीनियर इसलिए नहीं बना क्योंकि मेरे फादर ने मुझे बायो नहीं दिलाई थी, सिर्फ इसलिए, इसी रीज़न की वजह से। आदि मेरे घर में सब जानते हैं। तो एक 10th क्लास का बच्चा, 9th क्लास का बच्चा इतना जिद में हो सकता है, जबकि हम तो एक काम करने वाले थे। आई कम फ्रॉम ए वेरी स्मॉल विलेज, वेरी स्मॉल टाउन, वेयर आफ्टर दिस योगीज इरा दैट वी गेट सीन द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आउट देयर। सो आप सब में से भी बहुत सारे लोगों के मन में होगा कि भाई मेरे को इंजीनियर बनना था, डॉक्टर बनना था। तो आप में से कितने लोग अपनी मर्जी से यहाँ पर MBA करने के लिए आए हैं? कि नहीं, इतने नहीं हो सकते यार। इसमें से कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं, कुछ करने के लिए नहीं था, चलो MBA में एडमिशन ले लेते हैं। कुछ ने इसलिए MBA में एडमिशन ले लिया होगा, स्पेशली फीमेल्स, माइट बी रॉन्ग ऑल्सो, कि पेरेंट्स को दिमाग में होगा कि यार लड़की MBA हो जाएगी तो दहेज कम देना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि पढ़ी लिखी लड़की दे रहे हैं। लड़के होंगे, बॉयज़ होंगे आपके यहाँ से, वो सब MBA में स्टे कर रहे होंगे, पेरेंट्स के माइंड में होगा कि लड़का MBA है तो दहेज अच्छा मिलेगा। ये सब ऑप्शंस, ये एक्चुअल है, फैक्टर लाइफ का है। आप अपने पेरेंट्स को पूछोगे या उनका माइंडसेट रीड करोगे तो बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स के माइंड में ये भी होगा। तो चलो अभी आ गए हो तो यहाँ से हम बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। और MBA भी क्या है कि लास्ट चीज़ नहीं है, आप इसको करने के बाद में भी बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं, और ये भी नहीं किया तब भी बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। दादा सब कुछ कर सकते हो, लेकिन अगर करना चाहते हो, दिस इज जस्ट ए एंट्री पास। आपको बहुत सारी वैकेंसीज मिलेंगी जहाँ पर वो होगा कि भाई वी नीड ए फ्रेश MBA, जो 2 years एक्सपीरियंस MBA, 5 years ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस MBA। तो उनको MBA चाहिए HR में, फाइनेंस में, प्रोडक्शन में, डिफरेंट स्ट्रीम्स के अंदर। तो ये आपका सिर्फ एक गेट पास है। यहाँ पर आप जो कुछ सीखोगे उसमें से 10% भी आप अप्लाई नहीं कर पाओगे अपने डे टू डे जॉब के अंदर। मुझे नहीं मालूम शीतल मैम ने MBA किया, PhD भी किया है, तो वो अपना कितना उस चीज़ को अपने डे टू डे काम के अंदर अप्लाई कर पाते हैं, मुझे नहीं मालूम है। मैं तो नहीं कर पाता हूँ, या मैंने कभी नहीं किया। तो थोड़ा बहुत अप्लाई होता है, वो होता है मैथमेटिक्स। इसके अलावा कुछ भी अप्लाई नहीं होता है। जो मैनेजमेंट के प्रिंसिपल्स आप लोग पढ़ते होंगे या पढ़ोगे, मार्केटिंग के डिफरेंट फीस पढ़ोगे, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बिहेवियर पढ़ोगे, वो सब पढ़ोगे, उससे अंडरस्टैंडिंग आएगी, लेकिन उनको कितना यूज़ करोगे प्रैक्टिकल डे टू डे लाइफ के अंदर, वो मेरे लिए तो मुश्किल है कहना। ओके, तो लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। This is MBA for which you are here. B is in red. B means, जोर से तो बोलो यार। Okay, nice. Everybody know. Good. So what is the definition of business? Any three guys quickly, fast. Anyone? One from here, one from here, one from here. Otherwise, I will choose. You, my dear, you are dressed up in the best formal dress. Yes. What is business? Perfect. इधर से कोई भी. Yes, please. Profit and loss. Okay. Loss is also business. Only profit is business. Both are business. Part of it. Okay. From that row, ma'am, you are.
You earn profit.
नॉन प्रॉफिट. देखो थोड़ा समय ठीक बोला है, ठीक है ना, इसमें कोई डिबेट नहीं होती. और बिजनेस की सबकी अपनी अलग डेफिनेशन है. मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ. मेरी लाइफ का एग्जांपल है. आई वाज हेडिंग ए यूएस बेस्ड एमएनसी इन इंडिया एंड देयर वाज अ सेमिनार इन मुंबई इन विच मिस्टर मुकेश अंबानी, कुमार मंगलम बिरला एंड दीपक पारेख, दे वर एड्रेसिंग द अपकमिंग सीईओज. तो मेरी कंपनी ने मुझे स्पॉन्सर करके भेजा. उन्होंने मेरा टिकट का पैसा पे किया था, एंट्री का पैसा पे किया था, एंड आई वेंट देयर एंड लॉट्स ऑफ CEOs वर आस्किंग क्वेश्चन, एंड पीपल हैव टू रेज हैंड कि आई विल आंसर. सो मेनी क्वेश्चंस वर देयर एंड दिस क्वेश्चन केम देयर दैट व्हाट इज बिजनेस. हमने भी हाथ खड़ा किया, उस क्वेश्चन पे हमारा नाम आ गया. तो उससे पहले भी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन पे हाथ रेज किया था, लेकिन नंबर नहीं आया था. इसमें अचानक से आया तो मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया कि बोलूँ क्या. तो जिस तरह से आप लोगों ने बोला ना, बिजनेस की वही डेफिनेशन माइंड में थी, लेकिन वो नहीं बोली. आई जस्ट सेड वन वर्ड विच वाज माय कन्विक्शन. आई कुड हैव सेड द very formal definition of business, but I never believed in that definition. So आप लोगों ने profit and loss, and so many things you said. I said only one word out there. What could be that word? I said people. And then I was silent. They asked me, Mr. Deepak Parekh, who was the ex-chairman of HDFC, he asked me, gentlemen, can you elaborate this word? I said, sir, business is people as far as I concern, and I believe in that. Reason being that if you do not get the right kind of a people at the right time, you cannot do anything. You may have money, you may have power, but if you do not have the right kind of a people with you, business is not possible. Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani could become the Dhirubhai Ambani because he got right kind of a people with him at the right time. And I had a standing ovation in that. This was my conviction. The business is people. मेरे को आज के टाइम पर बहुत सारे लोग मिलते हैं कि हमारे पास पैसा है, विनीत जी यहाँ लगा देते हैं, एक कंपनी खोल देते हैं, आप चला लो, इसका सब्सिडरी खोल लो, मेरे लड़के को खुलवा दो. लोगों के पास पैसा भर भर के आज के टाइम पे. आप में से भी कुछ के पेरेंट्स के पास में इतना पैसा होगा कि उनको समझ नहीं आ रहा खर्च कहाँ करें इसको. म्यूचुअल फंड में लगाया होगा, बैंक की एफडी में पड़ा होगा, लैंड में पड़ा होगा, इधर उधर होगा, समझ में बिजनेस क्या करें उससे. क्योंकि उनके पास में राइट सॉर्ट ऑफ पीपल नहीं है जिनके ऊपर वो उस पैसे को लगा सके. आइडिया सबके पास में है, आपके पास में बहुत सारे आइडिया हैं बिजनेस करने के, लेकिन अकेले आप नहीं कर पाओगे. तो ऑलवेज बी इन सर्च ऑफ द राइट काइंड ऑफ पीपल एट द राइट टाइम. ओके. Why MBA? Why not anything else? Any one or two people. Why are you doing MBA?
So for me, doing an MBA is because my father basically he owns a business. So I'm interested in that business, and by doing MBA, I will get a proper vision of what I want to do and what I want to do to make growth in this business.
वो MBA से नहीं आने वाली है, वो वैसे भी कर सकते हो. बेसिकली पापा का बिजनेस है, एंड उसको संभालना है, तो आपने MBA कर लिया, बट इट वाज नॉट प्राइमरीली योर चॉइस.
Actually, I worked there. Actually, I took a gap of 1 year. In that 1 year, I worked there. I was helping him. He taught me everything in his business. So I got little interested, and I said that should I do MBA and come into this business.
चलो गुड. बट द फैक्ट इज दैट कि आप में से ग्रेजुएशन के स्ट्रीम के अंदर अलग अलग स्ट्रीम से लोग आए होंगे. किसने कॉमर्स में किया होगा, किसने आर्ट्स में किया होगा, किसने BSc किया होगा, और अधिकतर लोग इसमें यहाँ पर एक्चुअली में वैसे ही होंगे कि कुछ भी नहीं है तो चलो MBA कर लेते हैं, DY पाटिल में एडमिशन मिल गया कर लेते हैं. ये मेरे हिसाब से एक फैक्ट है. लेकिन अब यहाँ पर हो तो कर लो, अच्छे से कर लो, ठीक है ना. एंट्री का पास तो मिल ही जाएगा ना, एक डिग्री तो मिलेगी ना, ठीक ठाक कर लोगे तो. उस डिग्री से जॉब मिले या नहीं मिले, कि इंटरव्यू का कॉल लेटर तो मिलेगा. अब बात आएगी कि इंटरव्यू में जाकर के जॉब मिलेगी या नहीं मिलेगी. क्यों, कितने लोगों को यहाँ पे जॉब चाहिए MBA के बाद में? मैक्सिमम लोग हैं. और कितने लोग ऐसे हैं जो जॉब देना चाहेंगे MBA के बाद? अरे हाथ तो खड़ा कर यार, तुम मेरे टाइप के लोग हो. गुड. तो सबको चाहिए या किसी किसी को देनी है. तो वो जॉब आज के टाइम पे जो हमारी पहली साइट थी, बियॉन्ड डिग्रीज, स्किल्स दैट मैटर इन 2025 एंड बियॉन्ड. तो अभी दोस्तों सिर्फ MBA की डिग्री से जॉब मिलना बहुत मुश्किल काम है मार्केट के अंदर. वो सिर्फ एक टैग है कि हाँ आपके पास डिग्री है एंड दैट इज सफिशिएंट. नाउ यू नीड मच मोर and much more different than your normal syllabus. We were discussing with Vital ma'am while we sitting in the conference room, the similar kind of thing. Okay, now what is that? ये मैंने पूछ लिया आपसे. इसमें से लास्ट स्लाइड बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है कि हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर बेटर इन इंस्टाग्राम देन एक्सेल. बताओ, जल्दी जल्दी बताओ, कितने लोगों का इंस्टा बेटर है या एक्सेल बेटर है? किनका इंस्टा बेटर है वो हाथ रेज करो. कितने लोगों का एक्सेल बेटर है वो हाथ रेज करो. 4-5 हाथ इंस्टा के लिए आए, 4-5 हाथ एक्सेल के लिए आए. बट फ्रेंकली स्पीकिंग, अगर आपको एक्सेल नहीं आता है या PPT प्रेजेंटेशंस बहुत एक्सेलेंट वे के अंदर नहीं आता है, तो यू विल बी लैकिंग इन लॉट. और अगर आप इन सब चीज़ों के लिए ChatGPT के ऊपर डिपेंड करोगे तो आप खुद को धोखा देंगे. ChatGPT आपको बहुत अच्छा हेल्प करेगा. इट इज़ ए गुड कंपेनियन, बट यू नीड टू यूज ChatGPT. बट इफ यू गो एंड गिव ए प्रॉम्प्ट and ask everything to be done by ChatGPT, then you will be making yourself fool, because the ideas has to come from you. ChatGPT is just a facilitator, so you should be good in prompting, but at the same time you have to be full of ideas and how to correct it, how to modify it. That prompts you have to know. Or what is doable, what is not doable, that also you have to be a almost perfectionist. Got it? Now say have some hard skills, some human soft skills. These are the key things for today. You do your all the subjects, get 80% marks, 90% marks, 100% marks. They may not add value to get a good opportunity, but these things will add 100% value to your future, whether you are into business, whether you are into job, And I hope all of you might be aware about it also, must be agreeing to that also. So practice all these things every day. आजकल हम लोगों को ना बहुत अच्छा, मेरे को भी है थोड़ा सा, मैं ये डिनाई नहीं करूँगा, रील्स देखने की आदत हो गई है. एंड इट्स एडिक्शन. न्यूज़ देखने की, रील्स देखने की, या इंस्टा पर रहने की, या फेसबुक पर रहने की। तो अगर आप लोग 1 घंटा डेली अगर प्लान करते हैं कि मैं 1 घंटा एवरीडे 1 घंटा इसमें से किसी भी एक चीज़ के ऊपर स्पेंड करूँगा, योर लाइफ इज गोइंग टू बी completely changed. Whether you do not spend 1 hour to do your study of your curriculum and all, but spend at least 1 hour in any one of these. Like Excel, I said data analytics is the key. Canva, PPT making, you all must be aware about it. Am I right? Then LinkedIn branding. How many of you have written anything on your LinkedIn page about yourself? 7, 8 people only. Might be 100 odd people out here, but you should start writing about yourself, about your success, about your failure on your LinkedIn page. Every month at least you should write something. Failures are good or success is good? चलो यार, यहाँ तो मतलब बहुत कम लोगों ने बोला, लेकिन जो मेरे कानों में आवाज़ आई वो फेलियर की आई कि यस, एट दिस स्टेज फेलियर्स टीच यू मोर, तो नेवर बी अफ्रेड ऑफ दैट। बट ये सिर्फ कभी कभी क्या होता है कि हम सिर्फ बोलते हैं, क्योंकि आप लोगों को मालूम है यहाँ फेलियर बोलना है, फेलियर बोल दिया, बट वी डोंट वांट फेलियर, एवरीबडी वांट सक्सेस ओनली। ओके, तो राइट डाउन अबाउट योर फेलियर्स ऑन योर लिंक्डइन पेज। It's not necessary to show everybody that you are the most smartest person in this world. Tell them that I am stupid. I am like I am. Will you follow that? Now we come to the soft skill, emotional intelligence, highly required. Do you agree with that? I need to explain on emotional intelligence? You must be aware about it. Clear communication, key to success. Teamwork and ownership, you all are aware about it. And critical thinking. I give you an example. There is a guy who is a topper of your batch, and you can take this from Sheetal ma'am, last 5 years data of your institute, that your toppers, wherever they have been placed. Oh, I'm talking about your institution's toppers. There might be, at least one guy of their batch who was not even in top 50% of the boys, and they must have beaten the topper somewhere. There are very bright chances for that. Why? Because of the soft skills. Because of these skills. The guy might be having much more clear communication. बात समझ में आनी चाहिए सामने वाले को। आप किसी भी लैंग्वेज में समझाओ, किसी भी बॉडी लैंग्वेज में समझाओ। सबसे अच्छा कम्युनिकेट कौन करता है? Who is the expert in human being in communicating? जिसको बोलना आता है, ओके, गुड लिसनर, ओके। सबसे अच्छा कम्युनिकेट करता है वो बच्चा जिसको बोलना नहीं आता है। वो अपनी माँ को कम्युनिकेट कर देता है मुझे कब भूख लगी है। वो अपनी माँ को कम्युनिकेट करता है मुझे ये नहीं करना है तो नहीं करना है। वो रोड के ऊपर लेट जाता है तो उसको टॉय चाहिए तो कोई। So communication is not only the proficiency in language. आपको हिंदी, अंग्रेजी, मराठी भाषा का अच्छा ज्ञान है नहीं है, it's not necessary. But you should know that you have to communicate the right thing at the right time to the right person. Whatever way you can communicate. Communication is key. Clear communication. We are not talking about here English. We are not talking about Hindi. Maybe a couple of you may go to Germany to work out there. People may not know English out there. You have to communicate in German out there. You don't know German out there. What will you do? You have to find out the way. But until and unless you communicate, the desired result may not come. ओके। देन टीम वर्क एंड ओनरशिप, आपने बहुत सारे जार्गन सुने होंगे, यू नो। ऑलवेज टेक ओनरशिप ऑफ द फेलियर, जेन्युइन। टेकिंग ओनरशिप ऑफ ए सक्सेस इज इजी, टेकिंग ओनरशिप ऑफ ए फेलियर is highly required. That makes you strong because you have to learn so many things after that. You may not be able to learn so many things from a success episode, but you may learn lots of things from a failure episode. Okay? Critical thinking, you know, ये अपने आप में 2 घंटे का सब्जेक्ट है। हमारे पास 7 मिनट है, 30 मिनट हो गए शायद अभी, तो इन डिटेल वी विल टॉक इट लेटर। ओके। Now, what employers want? They don't want only toppers and 100 certificates. Got it? Toppers को of course जॉब मिलता है, you know, but it's not that कि वो toppers हैं तो वो हमेशा जो हैं बैच में सबसे आगे रहेंगे और सब कुछ करते रहेंगे, you know, it's not necessary. Should I give you a live example of this? बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है। I get into a management institute to study, a premium one. I had a fight with my father since beginning, you know, because उनका अपना एक ideology था and he wanted कि whatever I say my kids should do that. You know, शायद मेरे टाइम पे वो ज़्यादा होता था, अभी कम होता है। So I went for engineering, I left engineering, I came back, he got me admitted into BA because he wanted to save my that 1 year. You know, after 6-7 months I came back and at that time it was not possible to get admitted to BSc because BSc is a full-time course. So he got me admitted into BA. I chose 3 subjects, you know, one was philosophy out there. Since there I started reading also and all. But my friends started making fun of me. कि अरे इसका तो ऐसे इंजीनियरिंग में एडमिशन हो गया था, कौन इंजीनियरिंग छोड़ करके आता है, नो, इसको तो चला नहीं होगा इंजीनियरिंग। आप समझते हो ना, बुली करते हैं फ्रेंड्स आपके। मैंने वो सब चीज़ें सुनी तो मेरे को बड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स आया अपने अंदर, यार ये तो बात बिल्कुल ठीक है। तो मैं एग्ज़ाम देने के लिए गया BA के, तब नया नया, मैं प्रॉपर हिंदी मीडियम से हूँ, तब नया नया रैपिड डेक्स इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग कोर्स की किताब आती, मैं पढ़ता था उसको, तो उसमें से मैंने नए नए कुछ शब्द सीखे थे। उसमें से एक लाइन थी, दिस इज़ नॉट माई कप ऑफ टी। मैं अपने ऑल 6 एग्जाम्स के अंदर लिख करके आया था, BA इज़ नॉट माई कप ऑफ टी, आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड। ऑल 6 एग्जाम्स, ऑल 0। माई फादर वॉज ए प्रोफेसर इन द यूनिवर्सिटी, माई रोल नंबर वॉज नॉट देयर इन द न्यूज़ पेपर, यू नो, ही कुड नॉट बिलीव कि दुनिया में कुछ भी हो सकता है पर मेरा लड़का फेल नहीं हो सकता, इतना तो पढ़ता है। कि नहीं भी पढ़ेगा, एग्जाम देकर गया तो फेल नहीं होगा, कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ है। इंक्वायर कराया कि नहीं, सब मार्क्स के अंदर 0 आया। एग्जामिनेशन की कॉपियाँ निकलवाई, सब 6 की 6 कॉपियों में लिखा हुआ है, BA इज़ नॉट माई कप ऑफ टी, आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड। मेरी घर पे इतनी पिटाई हुई कि मैं आपको नहीं बता सकता। एक्चुअली इसको ना जम के वाली, यू हैव इंसल्टेड मी। हमारे खानदान में आज तो कोई फेल नहीं हुआ है, तुम फेल हुए, तुमने हमारी नाक कटवाई। वो नाक कटवाई थी मैंने, या जो भी बोल लो आप। उसके बाद मेरे को उन्होंने BCom में एडमिशन दिला दिया। BCom में तो मेरे को कॉमर्स सर से ऊपर नहीं करती थी, मेरे को डेबिट क्रेडिट साला आज भी कन्फ्यूजन होता है, सोच के बोलना पड़ता है मेरे को। फर्स्ट ईयर में आई गॉट 40% मार्क्स, 41% मार्क्स। सेकेंड ईयर में 53% मार्क्स। Then my father used to run a school at my native place in my grandfather's name, and their plans was कि इसको BCom के बाद में B.Ed करा देंगे और ये स्कूल संभालेंगे। जब ये घर का डिस्कशंस मेरे कानों में पड़ा तो मेरे को लगा कि सारी ज़िंदगी मैं इनके साथ नहीं रह सकता। मैं बिल्कुल फेयर एब्सोल्युटली एक्चुअल चीज़ शेयर कर रहा हूँ। मेरे को एक ही चीज़ था कि नहीं, मैं इनके साथ नहीं रह सकता, ये तो मेरे हक खा कर देंगे। एट दैट टाइम आई यूज्ड टू रियलाइज मुझे इंजीनियरिंग नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए था, लेकिन वो चीज़ निकल चुकी थी हाथ से, मैं वापस तो वहाँ नहीं जा सकता। तो इन 3rd ईयर आई स्टडी, ओनली इन 3rd ईयर, ओनली इन दैट 3rd ईयर आई बिकेम द टॉपर ऑफ द यूनिवर्सिटी। एक ही मोटिवेशन था कि मुझे यहाँ से, अब गाँव से बाहर निकलना है। मेरी दोनों सिस्टर्स बाहर निकल गई थी, मेरा ब्रदर बाहर था, मेरी मम्मी मेरे को लेकर के बहुत परेशान होती थी, लेकिन कुछ कर नहीं सकती, घर में पापा घर आते थे। तो वहाँ से फिर मैंने पढ़ना शुरू किया, फिर मेरे को इंस्टीट्यूशन में MBA में एडमिशन मिला, मैं करने के लिए गया। वहाँ पर भी मेरे फादर की खूब दादागिरी चलती थी, मतलब मैं आज के टाइम पे जो भी कुछ शायद अपने फादर की वजह से, मैं उसका पूरा क्रेडिट अपने फादर को देता हूँ कि जितना स्ट्रगल उन्होंने मुझे कराया या उनकी वजह से मैंने किया, उसके लिए मेरे को MBA की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती। मेरा 3rd सेमेस्टर में फिर उनसे झगड़ा हुआ किसी चीज़ को लेकर। उन्होंने बोला मैं तेरी फीस नहीं पे करूँगा, हमने कहा मत पे करो, हम अपने आप अरेंज कर लेंगे। अपने आप कहाँ से अरेंज करेंगे, उस टाइम थोड़ी जॉब मिलती, हमने फीस अरेंज नहीं करी। लेकिन 3rd सेमेस्टर का कहीं से जुगाड़ फीस का हो गया था, तो 3rd सेमेस्टर कर लिया। 4th सेमेस्टर का फीस का अरेंजमेंट नहीं हुआ, हमने 4th सेमेस्टर नहीं किया। लेकिन 3rd सेमेस्टर के अंदर मेरी हीरो होंडा के अंदर प्लेसमेंट हो गई थी एज ए मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग, ठीक है। और उसका ज्वाइनिंग लेटर, डेट वेट सब चीज़ें आ गई। उस टाइम पर ये ईमेल कुछ होता नहीं था। मैं थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट इरा से आया हूँ, एलियन समझ लो आप। तो 4th सेमेस्टर हमारा हुआ नहीं, हमने एग्ज़ाम भी नहीं दिया, फीस भी नहीं पे करी, तो हमारा MBA नहीं हुआ भी, ठीक है। लेकिन घर में किसी को मालूम नहीं था। हम पूरे 6 महीने झोला छाप स्टाइल के अंदर, कभी 5 दिन दोस्त के पास, 10 दिन दोस्त के पास, 15 दिन दोस्त के पास रहकर के हमने पूरे 6 महीने निकाल दिए। हमारे मदर फादर समझते थे कि लौटा हमारा MBA कर रहा है, तो अच्छी बात है, अपने बात से कहीं से पैसे नहीं करते। उनके पास होते भी नहीं, देवन को टीचिंग करते, वी वर 4th सेमेस्टर, सबको पढ़ाना लिखाना, उनको पैसे नहीं होते, टाइट थे मतलब। हमारा ज्वाइनिंग का लेटर हमारा आ चुका था, तो हम ज्वाइनिंग करने पहुँच गए। फिर उन्होंने डॉक्यूमेंट मांगे, डॉक्यूमेंट सबमिट करो अपने, ऑफकोर्स मांगेंगे ना जॉब के अंदर, तो हालांकि इसके पीछे कुछ और भी रीजंस हैं जो मैं आपको नहीं बता सकता यहाँ पर अभी। लेकिन 23 दिन के बाद मेरे को लगा कि भाई अब कंटिन्यू नहीं कर सकते हैं यहाँ पर जॉब, क्योंकि डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं है मेरे पास। तो मैंने अपना रेजिग्नेशन लिखा, लाइफ का पहला रेजिग्नेशन था, तो वो 6.5 पेजेस का हो गया। क्योंकि रीजन देना था ना मैं क्यों छोड़ रहा हूँ, तो हमने कहा रीजन सबसे अच्छा क्या होता है कि दूसरे पर डाल दो कि भैया तुम्हारी गलती है, तुम्हारे में ये कमियां हैं, ये हैं, ये हैं, ये इजी पे है ना। वो हम सब ये करते हैं लाइफ टाइम में, अपनी गलती कहाँ मानते हैं। तो हमने 6.5 पेजेस के अंदर हीरो होंडा के अंदर उनको जितनी कमियां नजर आई थी वो सब लिखी, उसके अंदर उनको दे दिया, अपने बॉस को दे दिया। फिर वो उसने पढ़ा, पढ़ने के बाद मेरे को देखा, फिर पढ़ा, फिर मेरे को देखा, फिर पढ़ा। RS दबास उस टाइम पर हीरो होंडा के वाइस प्रेसिडेंट HR, हेड ऑफ HR होते। मेरा लेटर उनके पास था, मुझे उनसे मीटिंग शुरू हुई, मैं मिलने के लिए 11 बजे का मीटिंग, आधे घंटे का था। वो मीटिंग कितने देर तक चली होगी? 1 आध घंटा। मीटिंग रात को 11 बजे तक। उन्होंने अपनी सारी मीटिंग कैंसिल करते रहे, डिस्कस करते रहे मेरे से। शाम को मेरे को JP होटल है बसंत कुंज के अंदर, दिल्ली के अंदर, अगर आप लोग दिल्ली से हो तो वो मेरे को वहाँ लेकर के गए डिनर विनर कराने के लिए। पहली बार उन्होंने मुझे दारू पिलाई, मैंने भी पी ली। लाइफ का मेरा फर्स्ट डे दारू ऐसे शुरू हुआ था। मैं भी थक गया था उनसे कि यार ये आदमी छोड़ क्यों नहीं रहा है मेरे को, दोनों पी ले तो मैं तो अंदाजा नहीं था तुम्हारा दोस्तों से, मैं तो पी लेते हैं, अच्छी बात लाई थी मैंने, तो दारू पी ली उनके साथ में। देन ही सेड कि आई वॉन्ट किल माई नाउ, सर मेरे पास डिग्री नहीं। ये बात शौक तो बोला यार घर से तुम्हारे अंदर, तुम अपना MBA पूरा किया नहीं है, तुम ना तो ज्वाइन करने भी आ गए। तो मैंने कभी प्रेशर में आ गया, ज्वाइन करने नहीं जाऊँगा तो कहाँ जाऊँगा, घर जा नहीं सकता, पैसे की ज़रूरत है ना। मेरा ब्रदर थोड़ा बहुत मुझे फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट करता था, मेरी एल्डर सिस्टर मेरे को काफ़ी सपोर्ट करती थी, ब्रदर लोग भी सपोर्ट करते थे, कुछ दोस्त भी थे वो भी सपोर्ट करते थे। सारी ज़िंदगी उधार भी चल रही थी। तो मैंने उनको सब कुछ बताया, बट ही सेड कि नहीं आपको ज्वाइन करना चाहिए, आई नीड यू। कि मैं अगर डेलोइट को हायर करूँगा, PwC को हायर करूँगा, उनको लाखों रुपये दूंगा, वो मेरे को ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का 6 महीने के अंदर भी वो एनालिसिस नहीं देंगे जो तुमने 23 दिन में दिया है। आई नीड यू। लेकिन कुछ और भी वहाँ पर हुआ था जिसकी वजह से मुझे वहाँ कंटिन्यू नहीं करना, तो मैंने वहाँ से उसको छोड़ दिया, वापस आ। वापस आकर के जब मालूम चला कि हमने अपना MBA भी कंप्लीट नहीं किया है, कुछ नहीं किया है, तो फिर पिटाई हुई। और माँ बाप जो है ना, बच्चों की पढ़ाई करने के बाद में भी उनको गले से लगा लेते हैं। दे डोंट आस्क देम कि बेटा छोड़ दो, निकल जाओ, सुनो। तो उन्होंने बिल्कुल रख लिया। फिर हमने एक अपने ब्रदर के रेफरेंस एक बहुत छोटी सी कंपनी ज्वाइन की, और उस कंपनी ने हमसे बहुत वचन भरवाए थे कि छोड़ोगे नहीं, ये नहीं करोगे, वो नहीं करोगे। हमने सारे वचन भरे थे। जैसे शादी में भरता है 7 वचन लड़की भरती है, का वचन लड़का भरता है, वैसे हमने भी पूरे वचन भरे अपने। और उस कंपनी ने मेरा 3 महीने के अंदर पूरा तेल निकाल दिया। मेरे को लगा ज़िंदगी की सबसे बड़ी गलती तो यहाँ करती होगी, अब मुझे हीरो होंडा ज्वाइन कर लेनी चाहिए। जैसे पहले लगा था इंजीनियरिंग छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए था, अब लगा कि हीरो होंडा नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए था। उससे तो ऑफर भी था, तुम नहीं है डिग्री छोड़ दो, मैं आई अकोमोडेट बट एवर। वो रियलाइज़ हुआ, लेकिन 1 साल का कमिटमेंट दिया था, 1 साल मैंने वहाँ पर जॉब किया। एंड दैट कंपनी मेड माय लाइफ। वो कंपनी मेरे से दिन में 12 घंटे कम से कम गधे की तरह से काम कराती थी। द कंपनी वॉज इन टू ऑयल। दे वर द इंडिया लार्जेस्ट और अदर फर्स्ट डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर ऑफ शेल ऑयल। शेल के पेट्रोल पंप देखते हो ना आप, तो तब इंडिया में शेल के पेट्रोल पंप नहीं थे एक्चुअली, लेकिन शेल का ऑयल आता था। तो दिल्ली में कस्तूरबा गांधी मार्ग पर उनकी गुजराती भाई थे प्रकाश देसाई, तो उनकी कंपनी थी। और उन्होंने मेरे को इतना दौड़ाया कि मैं आपको नहीं बता सकता। उनके पास एक मर्सिडीज़ कार होती थी, तो मेरे को कार चलानी आती थी, लेकिन मर्सिडीज़ मैंने ज़िंदगी में नहीं चलाई थी। तो उन्होंने मेरे को अपने ड्राइवर से मर्सिडीज़ के ऊपर ट्रेन कर दिया। और जब भी उनके क्लाइंट्स आते थे यूके से, किसी ना किसी बहाने से उनका ड्राइवर छुट्टी पर लाता था। मुझे अब बाद में पता लगा कि वो ड्राइवर को छुट्टी भेज देते थे। और मेरे को बोलते थे कि यार तू जाके ले आएगा क्या उनको? कहाँ से ले आऊँगा? मेरे को चाल तो यार मर्सिडीज़ चलाने के लिए मिलती है अपने को। मेरे लिए वो बहुत बड़ा इंसेंटिव है एक्चुअली, बहुत बड़ा इंसेंटिव। लेकिन वो 3-4 दिन पहले से ही मेरे से डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली इस तरह की बातें करते थे कि मैं एयरपोर्ट से ऑफिस तक के बीच में या उनको होटल छोड़ने जाता था, उसी बीच में मैं उस क्लाइंट को इनडायरेक्टली इतना सेट कर देता था कि प्रकाश भाई का आधा काम वैसे ही हो जाता था। ही कुड सेंस दैट थिंग इन मी। जबकि ना मेरे को उस टाइम पर अच्छे से अंग्रेजी आती थी, आज भी नहीं आती है, हिंदी भी नहीं आती है। हम थोड़ा बोल लेते हैं काम तो लाओ, लेकिन हमको पूरी तरह से किसी भी भाषा का ज्ञान नहीं है। मराठी का भी नहीं है, आप लोगों को, मुझे तो नहीं है। मैं थोड़ा बहुत समझ लेता हूँ, दोन दा वर्ती खाली, ऐसे 2-4-20-25 वर्ड आते हैं, लगा नहीं आते। तो मोटा मोटा मेरा कहने का पर्पज़ क्या है कि भैया आपको अपनी स्किल्स डेवलप करनी पड़ेंगी। ये डिग्री सिर्फ आपको इंटरव्यू प्लेटफॉर्म तक लेकर के जाएगी, इससे ज़्यादा मेरे हिसाब से नहीं लेकर के जाएगी। ठीक है, जो आपके यहाँ टॉपर्स होते हैं 6 मंथ के बाद आप देखोगे बहुत सारे लोग उनको पीछे छोड़ देते हैं जो टॉपर्स नहीं हैं। आपने अपनी फैमिलीज़ में, अपने सीनियर्स के केस के अंदर बहुत सारे इस तरह के एग्जाम्पल्स देखे होंगे। हमारे What a clear employer look for? Team player, problem solver, clear communication, adaptable learner. You have to be a very fast learner. और जो नई टेक्नोलॉजीज आ रही हैं आपको उनको अडॉप्ट करना ही पड़ेगा। जितना जल्दी आप अडॉप्ट कर लेंगे, सूनर इज बेटर, यू विल बी मोर सक्सेसफुल। किताबों के साथ भले कम टाइम स्पेंड करो, लेकिन जो आज के नए टूल्स हैं, AI है, आप सबको AI के ऊपर एक्सप्लोर होना चाहिए। 1 घंटा लगाओ AI के ऊपर। आजकल क्या है कि आप वो रील्स देखते हो तो रील्स के बीच में ना ऐड आते हैं, वो 99 रुपीज़ के ऊपर रजिस्टर कर लो। वो आपको उस 99 रुपीज़ के अंदर ऐसा दिखाते हैं। आजकल तो 9 रुपये वाला भी आ गया शायद, है ना? वो उस 9 रुपये में 2 घंटे खराब कर देते हैं आपके, कुछ नहीं बताते हैं। अगला प्लेटफॉर्म क्या होता है कि अब हमको 200, 500, 1000, 2000 रुपये दो, तब हम बताएंगे। बट मैं सीरियसली बोलूँगा आपको, वो पे करो, 2, 3, 4 प्लेटफॉर्म पे पे करो और उसको सीखो और उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करो अपनी डे टू डे लाइफ के अंदर। कॉम्पिटिंग सीखो, दैट विल हेल्प यू। तो टाइम, आज के टाइम पर आप इमेजिन कर सकते हो किसी को गूगल नहीं आता हो, नहीं, तो पॉसिबल नहीं है ना। इसी तरह से अगर आपको आप AI के अंदर गुड नहीं हो, ChatGPT में अच्छे नहीं हो, जेमिनी में अच्छे नहीं हो, तो यू विल बी लैकिंग बिहाइंड। यू हैव टू अडॉप्ट दैट और सीना ठोक करके उसको यूज़ करो, हर चीज़ में यूज़ करो। मैं तो गूगल पे जाता ही नहीं हूँ आजकल, किसी भी चीज़ के लिए गूगल पे नहीं जाता हूँ। मेरी डे टू डे लाइफ के अंदर मेरी तो वाइफ मेरा मजाक बनाती है, ChatGPT से शादी कर लिया मैंने, सीरियसली बोल रहा हूँ। एवरीथिंग आई यूज ChatGPT। जितने भी टूल्स हैं उन सबको बिना किसी हिचक के बोलने में भी नहीं डरो कि मैंने ChatGPT से निकाला है। आपके जो लेसन स्कूल में पढ़ाते हैं, कॉलेज में पढ़ाते हैं आपको, आप शाम को घर पर जाओ, ChatGPT को बोलो शो मी सम वीडियो, यू नो वेयर दिस टॉपिक इज एक्सप्लेन। क्लास में ही पढ़ो, 1 घंटा घर पर पढ़ो, छोड़ो जाओ। या क्लासरूम में जो टॉपिक पढ़ाया जाने वाला है उसको एक दिन पहले ChatGPT को बोल करके किसी दूसरे प्रोफेसर का सुन करके आ जाओ। क्लास में सब कुछ क्लियर हो जाएगा, 4 क्वेश्चन भी पूछ लोगे, इंप्रेशन भी जम जाएगा दूसरे बच्चों के ऊपर, ठीक है ना, लड़कों का लड़कियों के ऊपर, लड़कियों का लड़कों के ऊपर, यू विल बी गुड टू गो। इतना ही करना है, करो तो सही। उन सब चीज़ों का हेजिटेट नहीं करो। जितनी भी नई टेक्नोलॉजी इन फ्यूचर भी आएंगी, क्योंकि आपका तो फ्यूचर अभी शुरू होना है, और इतना फास्ट पेस के ऊपर ChatGPT अभी मालूम है क्या है, ChatGPT के अंदर नई नई चीज़ें आप लोग को मालूम होगी, मतलब आप लोग तो मुझसे ज़्यादा एडवांस होंगे, उसके अंदर इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस भर के आ गई है। आप अगर ChatGPT से बात कर रहे हो और आपने अगर खांस दिया, पूछता है वो आपको, आर यू नॉट फीलिंग गुड? नो, या आई हैव अ लिटिल कफ। Okay, he will ask you again. He will prompt you some other questions. You have dry cough, this cough or that cough. Then if you ask, he will ask you, can I suggest you some medicines or something like that? You say yes, he will suggest you. No, next time when you talk to him, he will ask you, how are you feeling now? What else you need? This is the basic thing. अभी जितनी भी रिसर्च हो रही है मेडिकल साइंस के अंदर, उस सारी रिसर्च के अंदर जो पहले 10-10 साल में होती थी ह्यूमन बीइंग के ऊपर, सब कुछ हमारा जीन्स बेस्ड है, एवरीथिंग इज जीन्स बेस्ड। तो जितनी भी रिसर्च होती थी जिसके 10-10 साल के अंदर रिजल्ट आते थे, ह्यूमन बीइंग के ऊपर रिसर्च होती थी, दैट इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू बी डन बाय AI एट ए मच फास्टर स्पीड। गॉट इट? These are the essential skills which I was talking about. ये शीतल मैम के पास में है और आपको सबको मालूम है, एवरीबडी ऑफ यू नोज ऑल दीज थिंग्स। इसके अंदर मैं कुछ भी नया नहीं बता रहा हूँ आपको, बट इम्प्रूव ऑन दैट, यू विल बी ए मास्टर। जितना आपको ये MBA नहीं हेल्प करेगा, उतना ये सारी स्किल्स आपको हेल्प करेंगे इन जनरल कैरियर में आगे जाने के लिए, आपके प्रोफेशन में आगे जाने के लिए, बिजनेस में आगे जाने के लिए, कुछ भी करोगे अगर आप लाइफ के अंदर, these skills will help you. Canva for visual design, ChatGPT for smart content, LinkedIn for personal branding. LinkedIn को तो इतना अच्छे से यूज करो आज के टाइम पर, every week there should be something about you, good, bad, कॉपी पेस्ट करके डालो। जो सही नहीं है वो भी डालो। हम सबको मालूम है कॉक पीना खराब होता है, कोक वालों को मालूम है कॉक पीना खराब होता है, कितनी ब्रांडिंग करते हैं उसकी। वो आलिया भट्ट बोलती है कि मैं तो मीठा नहीं खाती, ये नहीं करती, वो नहीं करती, और माजा के ऐड में और इसके ऐड में और उसके ऐड में आती है सब। अक्षय कुमार बोलता है मैं तंबाकू नहीं खाता, वो गुटखा नहीं खाता, वो विमल गुटखा के ऐड में आता है। हमें राइट हो रहा हूँ? तो जब इतने बड़े बड़े जो सेलिब्रिटीज़ हैं वो सब कर रहे हैं, तो हम क्यों नहीं करें? और दोस्तों, मतलब प्रैक्टिकल बात ये है कि किसी को मालूम है खुदा के छोटे भाई का नाम क्या है? खुदा के छोटे भाई का नाम क्या है? एनीबडी? मेहनत तो छोटे से छोटे वाला हो गया, एब्सोल्युटली बिल्कुल छोटे वाला हो गया, 1 साल छोटे वाला। पैसा जो फैक्ट है लाइफ का, वो फैक्ट है। आपकी इस एज के अंदर हम आपको नहीं बोल सकते कि नहीं यार ये करो न वो करो, नहीं करो, पैसा नहीं कमाओ, कम कमाओ, पैसा सेकेंडरी है, पैसा प्राइमरी है। एट योर एज, आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग योर MBA, इफ यू आर नॉट अर्निंग गुड मनी, इफ यू आर नॉट मेकिंग मनी, यू विल बी लैकिंग बिहाइंड। किसी की ग्रोथ आज के टाइम पे हमारे समाज के अंदर, हमारी सोसाइटी के अंदर तो पैसे से लाती जाती है। हाँ, हमको गुंडागर्दी करके नहीं लाना है, किसी कब्ज करके नहीं लाना है, स्मगलिंग करके नहीं लाना है, बट मेहनत करके बिजनेस से जॉब में अपने आप को अप्लाई करके अपनी स्किल्स को अप्लाई करके अगर आप पैसा कमाओगे तभी आपकी ग्रोथ है, तभी आपके रिलेटिव, तभी आपके फ्रेंड्स, तभी आपका इंस्टीट्यूशन, तभी आपके पेरेंट्स, उनकी नज़रों में आपकी वर्थ, आपकी वक़्त तभी होगी व्हेन यू विल बी फाइनेंशियली डूइंग वेल। ये जीवन की सच्चाई है। तो वो सब इन स्किल्स से आएगी। आप लोग डीवाई पाटिल से कर रहे हैं, कोई आईएम से करता है, क्या डिफरेंस है डीवाई पाटिल से एमबीए करने में और आईएम से करने में? एनीबडी? There they make you expert in practicing, putting their thoughts into execution at a faster speed. एक्सपर्ट होते हैं तो वो 4 घंटे का काम 1 घंटे में करते हैं। हम लोगों को, आप लोगों को ये सब चीज़ें कम आती हैं तो हम 4 घंटे का काम 6 घंटे में करते हैं, क्योंकि बीच में 2 घंटे हमको फेसबुक भी देखना होता है। ये फैक्ट है। कोई मैसेज तो नहीं आया, कोई फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट तो नहीं आई, कौन कहाँ जा रहा है, वो कहाँ गया है, ये कहाँ गई है, ये सब चीज़ चेक करना होता है ना, बहुत ज़रूरी है हमारे लिए वो, इसलिए हमको टाइम ज़्यादा लगता है। डिफरेंस द लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी का ही है मेजरली इसके अंदर, और थॉट प्रोसेस का ऑफकोर्स। उनका दिमाग ज़्यादा चलता है क्योंकि उन्होंने पास में ज़्यादा चलाया होता है उसको, ना। वो जो 3 इडियट्स की है ना डायलॉग, वो कि इनके माइंड जो है वो सबसे ज़्यादा रेट में जाएंगे जो कि अनयूज्ड हैं। तो वो कहीं कहीं हद तक वो एक सटाया था, लेकिन कहीं कहीं ठीक भी है। तो यू हैव टू यूज़ योर ब्रेन मच मोर इनटू ऑल दीज थिंग्स, और आप उतने ही फास्ट हो जाओगे, कोई खास डिफरेंस नहीं रहेगा। फाइनल टेकअवेज, सबको मालूम है, कुछ भी ऐसी चीज नहीं है जो मैंने नहीं बता रहा हूं आपको, नथिंग न्यू। कितना इनकलकेट करते हो अपनी डे टू डे लाइफ के अंदर, 1 घंटा लगाओ बस। Be consistent, not perfect. Communicate clearly and stay curious. बहुत लंबे जार्गन्स की जरूरत नहीं है। Got it? Any questions? श्योर बोर हो गए पूरा 1 घंटे में? कुछ लोगों को मैंने सोते हुए देखा, मैं मजाक कर रहा हूँ, कोई नहीं सो रहा है। तो दोस्तों यही है लाइफ, थोड़ी सी अभी दौड़ लोगे, स्पीड पकड़ लो। अभी एक बार दौड़ने की आदत पड़ जाएगी तो फिर रुकना मुश्किल होगा। और बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन करो। बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन समझते हो कि 50 साल के बाद में काम नहीं करना है। मैं आज के दिन काम नहीं करता हूँ, फ्रैंकली बता रहा हूँ। आई डू नॉट वर्क इवन मोर देन 1 hour a day. I live in US on a visitor visa. I left India for my son's study in US, and I'm on the verge of winding up my company out here in India, Indian operations. पैसा भी कम मिलता है, रीज़न ये भी है उसका। कोई मैं चैरिटी नहीं कर रहा हूँ कि मैं कंपनी बंद कर दूँ अपनी, यूएस में कोई ज़्यादा पैसा देता है। आई एम कंसल्टिंग CEO टू डिफरेंट कंपनीज आउट देयर, जा करके वहाँ यही सब फालतू की बातें करता हूँ, लोग खुश हो जाते हैं, पैसे दे देते हैं, मैं क्या रहता हूँ। फैक्ट है ये, जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है काम का, उस एक्सपीरियंस के बेसिस के ऊपर मैं आपको एक बड़ा फनी सा इंसिडेंट बता सकता हूँ। वी वर हैविंग ब्रेकफास्ट, मी एंड माई सन, माई वाइफ वाज सर्विंग, My son might be 7-8 years old at that time. He asked me, "Papa, आप कंपनी में करते क्या हो?" This question nobody has asked me in my life कि आप कंपनी में करते क्या हो. तो मैंने सोचा, अब आई हैड ए कंपनी, तो मेरा कोई ऐसा नहीं मैं HR हेड हूँ या ऑपरेशंस हेड हूँ या फाइनेंस हेड हूँ या कुछ हूँ. सभी लोग मेरे को रिपोर्ट करते थे. मैंने उसको बोला कि भाई मेरी कंपनी में जितने भी लोग काम करते हैं उनको जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं मैं उनको रिजॉल्व करता हूँ. मैं एक्चुअली में मुझे यही आंसर आया और मैं करता भी यही हूँ. जो भी डे टू डे की हैसल्स हैं लोग पूछते हैं मुझसे, मैं पूछता उसको ऐसे करके देख लो, उसको फ़ोन कर लो, उसको मेल लिख दो, उसको ये कर दो, यही मेरा काम. देन वी आर हैविंग ब्रेकफास्ट आफ्टर ए पॉज ऑफ मे बी 1 or 2 minutes. आप डेली यही करते हो? मैं कहा मैं डेली यही करता हूँ. फिर देयर वाज ए पॉज. देन ही अगेन आस्क्ड मी, तो क्या आपकी प्रॉब्लम है डेली, आपकी कंपनी में डेली प्रॉब्लम्स ही आती रहती हैं? दैट हिट मी बैक. उसने उसको किस लेवल पर जाके एनालाइज किया. मैं उसको एक्सप्लेन किया कि नहीं मेरी कंपनी में डेली प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं आती है. माई कंपनी नॉट फुल ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स. उसको लगा डेली यही काम करते हैं, प्रॉब्लम ही आती रहती है, लोग प्रॉब्लम ही आकर पूछते रहते हैं, प्रॉब्लम ही सॉल्व करता रहता है आदमी, तो कंपनी ही प्रॉब्लमेटिक है. So then I narrated him in a very different way, but I was amazed to see the analysis. Got it? तो लग जाओ दोस्तों काम पे. अपने इस MBA को सीरियसली लो. आए हो यहाँ पर तो अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो, लेकिन साथ में जो लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं यू हैव टू अडॉप्ट दैम विदाउट फेल. If you really want to achieve the desired success, if you want to be on the next platform, it is highly required to each one of you. उसमें कोई हेजिटेशन नहीं है. US के अंदर डिफरेंट टूल्स आ गए हैं जहाँ पर अगर आप ChatGPT से कुछ करके फिर भी सबमिट करते हो, they put it in that tool, you also must be aware, you know, and you will be catch all. But बच्चों ने उसके भी इस तरह के रूल दिए. सीरियसली बता रहा हूँ. स्मॉल 17-18 years old kid are much smarter than ChatGPT. वो ChatGPT से ही पहले उसका सोल्यूशन निकलवाते हैं, तो उसके अंदर अपना सोल्यूशन डाल देते हैं, and then good to go. There are so many new technologies which should be a part of your day-to-day life, morning to evening. और जम के लाइफ को सेलिब्रेट करो, जियो खुल करके. और दिन के अंदर 1-2 गलतियां बड़े वाली करो, 1-2 गलतियां छोटे वाली करो, लेकिन एवरी डे यू नो कमिट सम मिस्टेक्स, रियलाइज देम, लर्न फ्रॉम देम एंड मूव ऑन. हर दिन सक्सेस नहीं आएगी, लेकिन हर दिन अगर फेलियर आता है तो वो कुछ सिखा के जाएगा. जॉब के अंदर हर महीने को पगार आती है, 1 तारीख को, 7 तारीख को, है ना. लेकिन बिजनेस के अंदर बिट्स एंड पीसेस के अंदर पैसा आता है, लेकिन वो पगार से ज़्यादा आता है, बहुत ज़्यादा आता है. आपके अंदर सस्टेन करने की ताकत होनी चाहिए. Another thing which I follow in my life, that whatever you earn, save 1% of that. Minimum is 1%. अब पॉइंट्स में तो मैं नहीं जाता हूँ. And do some charity of that. Only with 1%. भले आप किसी गाय को खाना खिलाओ, भले आप किसी गरीब को दो, कैश मत दो. वो आपका पूरा पर्सपेक्टिव जो ना लाइफ का चेंज करता है. इन्हें स्लो मोशन धीरे धीरे अगर आप उसको प्रैक्टिस करते हैं. एवरी डे अपने आप को थैंक यू बोलो, अपने पेरेंट्स को थैंक यू बोलो, अपने गुरुजनों को थैंक यू बोलो, जिससे भी कुछ सीख रहे हो, आपस में सीख रहे हो, यू नो ग्रेटिट्यूड, दैट इज हाईली इम्पोर्टेंट. जिससे भी सीख रहे हो. और आप लोगों को मालूम है कि ये एक यूनिवर्सल ट्रूथ है कि आप सब लोग अपने पेरेंट्स से, अपने गुरुओं से, अपने बड़ों से कहीं ज़्यादा कैपेबल हो. ये यूनिवर्सल ट्रूथ है कि हमारी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन हमेशा हमसे ज़्यादा कैपेबल होती है. अगर नहीं हो तो हम ग्रो ही नहीं कर पाएंगे. एंड वी आर ग्रोइंग. द ग्लोब इज ग्रोइंग. एम आई राइट? So you people are much more capable than your elders. Limitless. Have faith in you, work hard, and stay successful and happy throughout your life. Thank you very much for being a patient audience. We will catch up soon. Okay, God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Vineet Narayan, sir, for sharing your valuable insights and inspiring us with your visionary leadership. Your dedication to advancing talent and technology continues to shape the future of many organizations. We look forward to learning more from you and wish you continued success in all your endeavors. Thank you.
हेलो. या ओके. सबसे ज़्यादा आज के टाइम पे शैतान कम्युनिटी कौन है? यू पीपल, यंगस्टर्स, फ्रेशर्स. आपको मालूम है इंडस्ट्री के अंदर आज के टाइम पे सबसे बड़ा जार्गन क्या है कि वी डोंट वांट टू हायर फ्रेशर्स. ये मैं आपको इंडस्ट्री ओवरव्यू बता रहा हूँ. आई नो एटलीस्ट मोर देन 100 CHROs of Fortune 500 companies. Personally, by name, they know me, I know them. I have run a recruitment consulting company, which was India's finest company, for more than 10 years. I closed that in 2014. You must have heard my company name, Pathfinder. So nobody wants to hire freshers. क्यों नहीं hire करना चाहते हैं? क्योंकि वो काम नहीं करते. उनको पैसे भर के चाहिए. मैं शीतल मैम को बता रहा था. और उनको ऑफिस के अंदर बैठ करके व्हाट्सएप और फेसबुक और इंस्टा सब कुछ करना है, काम नहीं करना है. वर्क फ्रॉम होम चाहिए, 4 घंटे में काम हो जाए, 2 घंटे में काम हो जाए. तो प्लीज़ चेंज दैट माइंडसेट. अनदर थिंग, नाउ माय इंडियन ऑपरेशंस आर क्लोज, यू नो, ऑलमोस्ट क्लोज. आई डू हैव वेरी फ्यू पीपल आउट देयर, बट आई नीड फ्यू पीपल फॉर माय इंडियन ऑपरेशंस. 100% वर्क फ्रॉम होम. बट आई एम नॉट लुकिंग फॉर फुल टाइम पीपल. ओके. रीज़न भी कि मैं 8 घंटे के लिए अगर हायर करता हूँ तो भी बंदा 2 घंटे 3 घंटे का ही आउटपुट देता है. इफेक्ट है. हम ये काम ही नहीं करते हैं. उनके बाद ऐसे ऐसे बहाने होते हैं, हमें पता है कि बहाना दे रहा है पर हमारे पास आंसर नहीं होते. नो, या हम आंसर दें तो क्या आंसर दें? कितना डिबेट करें उनके साथ में? इतने तुम शैतान हो तुम लोग. एक्चुअली में सुपर बदमाश जो है ना, वो सारा क्राउड यही बैठा हुआ है. पता यार आप ही के भाई मिल जाएंगे. तो मेरे को आज के टाइम पे 4-5 लोग चाहिए, लेकिन मैं 2-2 घंटे के लिए हायर करूँगा. मॉर्निंग और इवनिंग में ही आपको काम करना होगा. ठीक है ना? आई विल पे फॉर दैट. यू नो, इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री, इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट. whosoever is interested, you know, please come through शीतल मैम और anybody through me. You know, मैं सबके साथ 1-1 घंटा स्पेंड करूँगा, गप्पे मारूँगा, चाय पिलाऊँगा. ठीक है ना? कॉफ़ी नहीं पिलाऊँगा क्योंकि खुद नहीं पीता हूँ. ठीक है? पिला भी दूँगा, वैसे कोई बात नहीं है. लेकिन मेरे को जितने बच्चे पसंद आएंगे, ठीक है ना, जो भी कोई पार्ट टाइम असाइनमेंट्स करना चाहता है, मोस्ट वेलकम. लेकिन मैं 2-2 घंटे के अंदर ही, क्योंकि उसी हिसाब से पे करूँगा. ठीक है ना? तो 4 लोग हायर करूँगा तो मुझे एक आदमी को तो आउटपुट देंगे ना. तो आप में से जितने लोग भी इंटरेस्टेड हो, मुझे नहीं मानो तो मुझे पूछ के अनाउंस करना चाहिए था, बिना पूछे अनाउंस करना चाहिए था. बट आई अनाउंस्ड इट. रीज़न बीइंग दैट, यू नो, यू ऑल आर वेलकम. एंड सिमिलरली आई डू हैव, you know, people known to me to whom I have floated this idea and they agreed to me for this. Yes, this is a good idea, it can be tried. But it cannot be tried in the corporates because corporates cannot hire you for 2 hours, but it cannot be hired, it can be implemented in small startups, you know, to whom I have been funding, you know, or I have been an angel investor to them. So उनसे बात किया तो उन लोगों ने बोला कि हाँ ये ट्राई करके देख सकते हैं. छोटे छोटे असाइनमेंट्स देंगे आप लोगों को, जो कि आप इवनिंग में, मॉर्निंग में, सैटरडे में, संडे में अगर डिलीवर करते हो तो यू विल बी पेड फॉर दैट. ओके. But I would like all of you to come to a proper channel for that. My email ID, my number, are with Sheetal ma'am. Rather I'll give them the number of one of my colleagues, and if you are interested, you want to explore that thing, you can work on that. Okay? Thank you.